Here we are, guys, in part 11 of this story. What if Naruto was being trained by Madara and Hashirama? Please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Now, let's begin. A few days after Team 7 and 9 returned from the land of snow, Naruto was walking through the village when he spotted his destination, the Yamanaka flower shop. Naruto walked in and looked over at the counter and saw Ino standing there. Naruto-kun, what can I do you for? Ino asks. Ino, I was wondering if you and I could grab something to eat together, get to know each other a bit more. Sure Naruto-kun, just let me alert my mom, hang on, I'll be right back. Ino smiles, then she walks upstairs and Naruto hears voices and a couple of heated words, then Ino walks downstairs. I got it all set up and I'm ready to go. Or do you want to go, Ino? Why don't we get some ramen? I heard you went to the land of snow recently. Yeah, I did, it was a very tough. Ino and Naruto walk towards Ikiraku's, and when they sit down and order, Naruto and Ino chat animatedly about the land of snow incident, and over the time they discussed things, Naruto got to know Ino quite a bit more and learned about her dreams. Hey Ino. Yeah Naruto-kun, do you want to join Hinata-chan and Haku-chan and I for a bit of afternoon training? Sure, why not, sounds like fun. Ino says. Naruto pays for the meal and then he and Ino return to the Uzumaki clan compound where Hinata and Haku were sparring against one another. Hinata-chan, Haku-chan, Ino-chan is joining us this afternoon. Alright, let's go. What do we do first, Naruto-kun? Hinata asks. First let's start with our daily laps around the compound. You two go first, I need to set Ino up with some weights so we can get her up to our level. Hi Naruto-kun. Hinata and Haku start running around the compound while Naruto sits down and motions for Ino to do the same. Now Ino, what's your favorite color? Purple. Alrighty then, purple chakra weights coming up. Naruto starts writing up the weights and when he is finished he looks at Ino with a serious look on his face. Before we begin, there is something I need to tell you, Ino-chan. What is that, Naruto-kun? By the time that this exercise program is complete you will hate me. You will wish me dead, but in the end there is one thing you can't argue with. What is that? The results. Also you need to stop dieting because you will need all the energy you can get if you're going to survive this regime. But what about my figure? I don't want to get fat. Ino says. Look at Hinata-chan and Haku-chan. They eat 3 square meals a day and they have a figure most girls would kill for. I guess you have a point. Ino says. Naruto then takes out a set of purple wristbands and then starts writing the symbols on the band, then he hands them to Ino. Here you go, now just put on the arm bands then channel chakra into them. For you I would only recommend level 2 for a start as that is the general beginner's level. Level 2, what level are you on, Naruto-kun? Well, I'm at level 72 or 72 times normal gravity. The seals only go up to level 100 because anything else would crush the human skeleton, not even a Jinchuriki can go beyond it. So level 2 is 2 times normal gravity. Correct. Just then Naruto feels a dark chakra emanating from the Uchiha compound and Naruto gets a dark look. Ino-chan, tell Hinata-chan and Haku-chan that Hinata is charge of this while I go find the source of the dark chakra I'm feeling. Naruto leaps off towards the Uchiha compound to find Sasuke standing there, and to Naruto's shock, the curse mark flowing over his skin, holding a semi-conscious Sakura in his hand. Sasuke. Ah, Naruto, just the man I was looking for. So dark Sasuke, you've reared your ugly mug at last. That's right, and now I'm going to kill you, and when my host archives the Mangekyo Sharingan, I will take your eyes and achieve true greatness. Naruto closes his eyes, then they open and Naruto glares at the possessed form of his friend and brother figure. You won't win, but I'm not fighting you here. Naruto rushes Sasuke and grabs him and warps out of the room, and he appears on the hospital roof and he grabbed the Hirishin kunai and turned to face his opponent. Before we begin, I'm curious how you broke the seal. It was easy. Even though Sasuke here denied using my power, I was still able to draw chakra from his surroundings, and there isn't a seal made that can hold back sage chakra. So the cursed seal comes from sage chakra. Interesting. Quite. Now where were we? Ah yes, I remember now. I was gouging out your eyes and using them to escape this cursed body of mine. Then bring it on. Naruto charges, drawing his weapons at the man he once called a brother. Dark Sasuke ducks under the gunbai and dodges left of the side attack only to meet Naruto's foot, which was coming in so fast that Dark Sasuke had to activate his Sharingan, and to Dark Sasuke's shock Naruto's foot vanishes even to the Sharingan. Coward. Dark Sasuke roars out as he jumps into the air and forms the tiger hand sign. Quote, fire style. Grand Fire Ball. Then entire roof is set alight and suddenly a dark chakra flares up and Naruto's Susanoo appears protecting him from the deadly flames. Once the flames vanish, his Susanoo deactivates. Quote, "Fool." Dark Sasuke calls out with delight, then he starts forming hand signs and Chidori appears in his hand and then he disappears and reappears right behind Naruto only for Naruto to duck under the attack and kick Dark Sasuke's chest, causing the technique to vanish. Because Sasuke lost concentration. Did you forget the Rinnegan's power, Sasuke? Naruto smiles back confidently. What do you mean? I know the 6 paths quite well. I'm also aware you can absorb chakra. Yes, I know you know, but you forget its most useful battle ability. And what is that? Linked sight. Dark Sasuke is then rammed in the back with Naruto's foot, and as Dark Sasuke turns around he sees 5 other Narutos standing there, Rinnegan glowing. So going for the assault of the 6 paths, useless. Just then the world around Dark Sasuke turns inverted colored. What is this? Tsukuyomi. Naruto says, and in a swirling of the world Sasuke is strapped to the crucifix. This won't stop me. Dark Sasuke closes his eyes and when he reopens them the world shatters. Never underestimate the Sharingan. Fair enough. Naruto kicks Dark Sasuke back into the air and opens his palm and the Rasengan starts swirling there. Dark Sasuke forms hand signs for the Chidori. I'll be taking those eyes now, you dumbass. Naruto doesn't respond, then the charges using Diva Path to accelerate towards Sasuke at a high-speed pace. Rasengan. Chidori. Sasuke and Naruto roar out as they approach one another. Just then Kakashi grabs Naruto's arm and redirects him into a water tank, and as Sasuke glares ready to go for the kill, just then Mikuru, in his Colossus mode, pins him to the roof. While grabbing Dark Sasuke's Chidori he laces his arm down into his stomach and up into the other arm into another clone who repeats the energy redirection process into the sky over the Uchiha compound. What the hell is wrong with you two? Don't you think that's a little extreme for a sparring match? Kakashi says, I smiling. This was a death match between myself and Dark Sasuke, or as you knows him, the spiritual embodiment of the curse mark. What? Kakashi and Mikuru cry out, looking at Sasuke to find the curse mark had spread to Sasuke's eyes. Just then, as Sasuke struggles on the ground with one double-weighted Mikuru on top of him, Makoto arrived, then Kakashi and Sakura. Kakashi took his time explaining what had happened and why her son was pinned to the ground, struggling with a dark look in his eye. Mikuru powered down from Colossus mode, via Tiger hand sign. A few seconds later, Naruto restored the seal to its full power and added a 5-prom on top of it to stop the gathering of Sage Chakra, and then Makoto was chewing Sasuke out about letting the curse mark take over. While this was happening, Mikuru remembers Makoto from back at the academy and how beautiful she was then and now. Thanks for stopping my son from doing something stupid. It's been my pleasure, Makoto-sama. Mikuru says, turning to face her, a small blush coming across his features. Well, as I live and breathe, Mikuru Namikaze. How've you been? I haven't seen you since graduation day at the academy. Mikuru was now speechless to the point where he could still form them, he just couldn't get them to exit his mouth but managed. I'm got to fix the tank. Mikuru says, leaping towards the water tank. Naruto's Rasengan had blown open with a big red face. That was not suspicious, and by not suspicious I mean totally suspicious. Naruto thinks at his uncle's antics. You can say that again. Madara says. I think our little Mikuru is in love. Hashirama says, smiling. Now on the more serious matter. Naruto gains a hardened look. The seal on the mark on Sasuke's neck needs to be destroyed, but how? Madara, any ideas? Hashirama asks. I haven't a clue about what to do, sorry. Madara says sheepishly. I think the only way would be to use my power to completely create a new body for the curse mark and then destroy it. Well, that would work, but that takes time and it needs to be strong in order to survive the transfer of the seal. Shit. Naruto curses as he figures a way to rid Sasuke of the curse mark. Naruto warps back toward the compound to find Ino collapsed on the ground, sweat drenching her face. I fucking hate you. Naruto Uzumaki. Ino shouts. I'm sure you do. Naruto says, smiling, and then he turns to Hinata and Haku. I take it you pushed her to her physical limits. Yes, Naruto-kun. Hinata says, smiling. Good. Ino, take the rest of the day off, rest, recuperate, your training will resume in the morning, and remember my advice. And on a positive note, when you've done regime enough times, you're going to really be leaving Sakura in your dust in one field. Naruto says as he helps a smiling Ino back to her family's flower shop. Sakin, Kimimaro, Tayuya and Jirobo leaping towards the Leaf Village. Hope this won't be as boring as our last mission. Sakin says. Maybe it won't, but this is a retrieval mission, so they are bound to have people sent after us, so it might be fun. Kimimaro says. I hope they do, I want to kick some ass. Tayuya says. A lady shouldn't be talking like that. Jirobo says. Shut up, fat ass. Calm down, Tayuya, we need to escort our special guest to Lord Orochimaru. Kimimaro says. Sasuke was on his knees scrubbing a toilet and silently cursing his darker self for getting him into this. And you won't get diner until every single toilet is clean. Do you understand me, young man? Makoto says, hand on her hips, glaring at her youngest. What? Sasuke yells. You heard me. Makoto turns on her heel and storms out. Naruto was sitting on his father's head trying to think of a way to help Sasuke with the curse mark. Just then Naruto looks at how late it's become and walks back toward his house when he saw Jiraiya standing there. What were you thinking? Jiraiya asks. What did you want me to do, just stand there and have a lighting sword shoved into my gut? You could have absorbed the chakra behind the attack. Have you forgotten Rinnegan's power? If I had done that, I would have left myself open to a counter-attack. Using the Rasengan on a fellow shinobi. That was your answer. What you suggest I do? Anything other than an A-rank ninjutsu. Chidori is an A-rank as well. Oh. Jiraiya says, taken aback at Naruto's response. My Rinnegan doesn't make me unkillable, it only makes it harder. If that's all you got to talk to me about, then I'll be off. Naruto say, then he walks away on his continued route. Sasuke had just finished cleaning the last toilet, several of which hadn't been cleaned since the massacre. Sasuke walks back into the house and his mother was in the kitchen making dinner. Those toilets better be spotless, young man. Makoto says, not looking at her son as she was busy making Sasuke's favorite, onigiri with tomato centers. Yeah, I finished, mom, I'm going to take a shower before dinner. You'd best. Makoto picks up a tomato when a memory of Kushina pops into her head. Makoto was sitting down in her class at the beginning of the second year as the instructor was at the front of the class with Kushina next to him. All right, settle down. Today we have a new student joining us today, the instructor says. I am Kushina Uzumaki, to Bane. Kushina shouts out, then she covers her mouth with her hands. One kid says. Look at the color of her hair. How does it get that red? Another says. Shut up, I am going to be the first woman Hokage. Kushina shouts, then Minato stands up. I want to become a great Hokage, who will be admired by the village and everyone too. Minato said, then he sat back down next to his older brother and CJ. A few minutes later, a few kids in the class walk up to Kushina and start pulling at her hair. From this day on you're going to be tomato, you have a round fat face and red like a tomato. As if a tomato can become Hokage. Kushina starts blushing. You're getting Reader and Ripper. It's the tomato festival, time to harvest. Then Kushina grabs the kid's hand and glares. Who are you calling tomato? Then she spins the kid around and they all get thrown backwards. Then she jumps on the first kid and starts beating the crap out of him. Keep calling me tomato and you're going to get it. To Bane. Then Kushina notices Minato watching. What are you looking at? Minato quickly looks away and Makoto remembers watching CJ and Mikaru start busting up laughing at their friend brother's fluster. Rest in peace, Kushina, my old friend. Makoto thinks with a sad smile. Just then Sasuke walks out in his night clothes and she smiles at her son. Onigiri with tomatoes. Sasuke says with his face lighting up with glee. I think cleaning those toilets was punishment enough, so I decided I would make your favorite meal. Thanks, mom. Sasuke says, hugging his mother. After Makoto had finished, they both sat down and ate their meal, laughing and joking when Sasuke remembers how Naruto's uncle had reacted to his mother's thanks. Hey mom, can I talk to you about something? Sure Sasuke, what did you want to talk about? Mikaru Namikaze. What about him? Makoto asks. I think he might have a crush on you. Makoto remembers her academy days. He's had that for some time, and although he never showed it, I could tell he was always jealous of your father for winning the one thing he couldn't, me. I might not know that feeling personally, but it's still tragic nonetheless. However, that raises a much bigger question. What's that, Sasuke? It's been 4 years since the tragic night when Dad died. Why hasn't Mikuru at least tried to comfort you? Mikuru isn't that kind of man, and he's been in the Anbu ever since the reign of his brother and only retired very recently from what I can guess. Mikuru must have been heartbroken when you and Dad got married. He was there. I could tell he was hurt, but there was nothing I could do. However, he offered his congratulations to the both of us then left. I'm guessing it was around this time he was inducted into the Anbu. He joined to get his mind of things. Then I heard he was Mia a few years before you were born. Most of us thought him dead and openly mourned his passing. But no more so than our beloved 4th Hokage and CJ. Who is CJ? I mean, you mentioned him before, but I've never heard of him. Well, you see, CJ was a friend of the 4th's and Mikuru and your father's fiercest rival. They would always bicker over every little detail. Makoto's eyes got a glazed over look as she remembered her younger days. Dad had a rival. Yeah, but CJ was in a whole other ball game. His power stemmed from the gods themselves. He had eternal youth, but he was strong, able to find the weakness in even the most powerful technique in an instant. How? His analytical abilities were so powerful he could challenge even Inara in battle stratagem. He seems strong. Maybe he could help me avenge our clan by training me. Makoto laughs at the thought. CJ taught your brother and his genin team when Itachi was younger. Sasuke's eyes darken. I know he's a tough subject for you, but if Kami smiles on you, what happened that horrible night become abnormally clear. Makoto's look turned sad. Besides, CJ passed away several years ago. He passed away along when he and his wife saved your father and I during the Third Great Ninja War. What happened? It would be easier if I showed you. Makoto activates her Sharingan and looks Sasuke in the eye, and the world around them swirls, and when it cleared, Sasuke was watching as his parents and 2 people he'd never seen before jumping through the woods when the man with dragon wings turns around and draws his katana. Go! The man roared with a commanding voice. It will only cost your life if you stay. CJ, that's madness. The woman with blonde hair said. I understand, Amy, but this is what needs to be done. Zuu onslaught. Need. May. Hindon. I understand, but this must be done. Then at least let me stand by your side this one last time, if you insist. CJ turns to his parents. Go, Amy, and I will hold them off. Just take the scroll and run. We can't just leave you here. You'll be slaughtered. That's Hanzo the salamander you're up against. He'll kill you both. Makoto says. I have my methods. Besides that, information on the enemy's movements must get to Lord Sandaime at all costs. But just then his parents drop to their knees. Take the scroll and go. There is no room for debate. Every second you delay is another second that Hanzo gets closer. Fine, but you better come back. Fugaku shouts as he and Makoto flee, leaving Amy and CJ to face Hanzo alone. The world spins again, and when it clears they were back in the Uchiha Manor and Makoto was crying. CJ would later succumb to his injuries. Amy was by his side the entire time. When the Shinigami came to collect CJ, Amy pleaded with the Shinigami, but in the end she was unable to convince him, so she instead gave her life away too. I lost 2 very good friends that day. At that point Makoto could no longer stand the memories and broke down crying. I shouldn't have made you bring that up. Sasuke says and hugs his mother. It's okay, Sasuke, you couldn't have known. Makoto smiles sadly. The rest of the meal proceeded in silence. When Sasuke finished, he helped his mother clean up, then started walking towards the door. I'm going for a walk, I'll be back. Alright Sasuke, just be careful. Sasuke leaps to a quiet, secluded area and sits on a tree and thinks on what Kakashi told him about the Chidori when he learned it. Sasuke and Kakashi were standing on the cliff where they had been training for the last week and a half. Now Sasuke, I'm going to teach you a new technique. It's the only original jutsu I know, but this technique isn't without its risk. However, before I can tell you the risks of the jutsu, let me tell you about when to use it. What? The power of Chidori is used only as a sword to defend your friends, not as a tool for revenger, and certainly not to be used against your comrades. I understand, Kakashi-sensei. That technique was almost used against my brother. Figure, why won't this damn thing leave me alone? Sasuke thinks. Just then 4 figures land next to Sasuke, and to his shock they are holding Sakura by the throat. Orochimaru was sitting in bed, his arms in bandages, and Kabuto was standing next to him. Quote, Lord Orochimaru, was it really necessary to send all 4 of them out? Kabuto asks. All 4 of them seem to have an interest in Sasuke-kun, whom I favor. Orochimaru responds. How strong is he? Comparing strength. The current Sasuke-kun could take down 1 or 2 if they came at him 1 at a time and could possible fight and beat 2 if they came at him at once, but against all 4 of them he doesn't stand a chance. Cuckoo, that is why he will seek me for power as soon as possible. Sasuke got into a battle stance ready for combat, glaring at them. However, Sakon squeezes on Sakura's neck, causing her to cry out in pain. Who the hell are you? Sasuke asks. We are the Sound Ninja 4, I'm Kimimaro of the East Gate. Kimimaro says. I'm Sakon of the West Gate. Sakon continued, I'm Jirobo of the South Gate. Jirobo says. I'm Tayuya of the North Gate, shitface. Tayuya finishes. Why are you holding Sakura? You see, we realized that your friend is a sensory type and we knew the moment we engaged you in battle you would flare your chakra and we would have ninjas swarming us from all directions, so we thought, why not take a prisoner? So we did. Sakon says. Let her go. Sasuke says darkly. Well, we will, that is if you accompany us to Lord Orochimaru, and if you don't we'll kill her. Damn, what do I do? If I say no they kill Sakura, and while she's not my love interest she's still a friend and a fellow leaf shinobi and I won't let her get hurt on my account. Sasuke's thoughts are moving at 100 miles per hour. Sasuke drops his guard and then says. Fine, I'll go with you, but in exchange you can't harm anyone from Konoha. Sasuke says, acknowledging defeat. Fair enough. Sakon says, and he lets go of Sakura's throat, then he puts her down on a nearby bench. Sasuke then looks at the Sound Ninja 4. Give me a moment to gather my things. Just as he turns and leaves, something hits him in the back of the head and the last thing he hears before losing consciousness was, sorry but we aren't taking any chances. It was a relatively calm morning for Tsunade. She had finished her paperwork relatively easily and found a note from the Sarutobi on the desk written in an already dried ink which read, to the successor of the Hokage position, if you ever fall behind on your paperwork remember these words from the king of pranks himself. When confronted with 2 enemies you can't turn your back on, it's better to look in 2 directions at once so they can't sneak up on you. The bottom line is, use the bloody shadow clone jutsu if you know it. So that brat figured out the secret behind defeating paperwork. Well, this will be helpful in the future. Just then a shout from the door brings Tsunade out of her stupor. I don't care if she's busy, this is an emergency and, so help me, if you get in my way I'll kill you. Makoto's is heard, then a few seconds later she bursts in with a wild look in her eyes. Makoto, what is the meaning of this? Tsunade says, shocked. It's Sasuke. He's gone. My baby is. Makoto starts breaking down crying. Tsunade walks over to Makoto and slaps her in the face. Get a hold of yourself. Tsunade shakes Makoto's shoulders in an attempt to calm her down. Sasuke never came home last night, and when I went to check his room I found his clothes that I had laid out for him still therein. Using a seal that Kushina made me to that tells me when the owner of the room enters and leaves, and the last time Sasuke entered was when he changed into his night clothes just after his shower. I think he's been kidnapped or something. Just then Kotetsu and Izumo bust in with Sakura behind. What is going on? Is everyone ignoring the knock before you enter rule this morning? Tsunade says, exasperated. Lady Tsunade, it's about Sasuke Uchiha. Izumo says. What happened? Do you know where my baby is? Makoto asks, frantic. According to Sakura here, she was kidnapped by 4 strange ninja and then knocked out. So whoever these strange ninja were probably took Sakura captive and then used her to kidnap Sasuke. Tsunade says, a very serious look on her face. And I know just who they serve. Orochimaru. Makoto's eyes widen in fear and shock. What does that butt pedo want with my baby? The Sharingan. A voice says from behind them all, and they see Mikuru standing, a dark look on his face. He wants the Sharingan to copy all the ninja techniques in the world. Mikuru continues. However, there is a second, more mortifying reason / ulterior motive to why he wants Sasuke. It relates to a kinjutsu he's researching. I've encountered the bastard multiple times and seen which one. So has a team been deployed to pursue? Makoto asks. Yes, I had sent Shikamaru Nara, Naruto Uzumaki, Choji Akamichi, Neji Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka and Akamaru. But I fear they may be going into a hornet's nest. Will you be sending people to rescue Shikamaru's team in case of worst-case scenario? I will. In that case I volunteer to lead the rescue party, and I recommend that Makoto Uchiha, Kakashi Hatake and Might Guy are to go with me. My gear is all set, but I can't speak for Makoto, Guy, and Kakashi, but I'll go round up Guy, and you get Kakashi to the gate. I'll have the team be ready to leave well within the hour to a half an hour at the least. Izumo, Kotetsu, I need you to fetch me Shikamaru Nara. and Mikuru, I need you to get Naruto and tell them it's an emergency. Tsunade says. Yes ma'am. Izumo, Kotetsu, and Mikuru say, then they depart. Shikaku and Shikamaru were sitting at the table eating breakfast when Shikamaru's mother walked in with some tea in her hand. Hurry up and eat, Shikamaru. Your father has a mission today, meaning you don't have much time to train this morning. Yoshino yells at her son. Yeah, Shikamaru yawns. You only have to say, yeah, once. Yoshino gets a small tick mark on her face. Too damn noisy in the morning. Shikamaru thinks, and just then the doorbell rings. Who could it be so early in the morning? Yoshino asks herself and those present. Then she walks out of the room, and once she's out of earshot, Shikamaru turns to his dad. Hey dad. Shikamaru says in a hushed voice. Yeah, what is it? Why did you marry such a strict woman? Shikaku takes a sip of tea and closes his eyes and lets out a contented sigh. Let's see. She may be like that, but she has days when she has a kind smile on her face. I guess that's why. Shikamaru looks at his dad. That's it. Shikaku takes another drink of tea and lets out another contented sigh. Shikamaru. Yoshino's voice calls from around the corner. There are messengers from the 5th here to see you. Yoshino smiles and Shikamaru gives a confused look, and then he gets up and walks toward the Hokage's tower when he sees Mikuru and Naruto walking towards there as well. Lady Tsunade asked for you as well. Shikamaru asks his fellow Chunin. Yeah, uncle said it was an emergency, which doesn't bode well. Naruto responds, his eyes switching from Rinnegan to Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, indicating his tired state. A few minutes later they arrive the Hokage tower and Tsunade dismisses Mikuru and looks at the two Chunin before her. I'll cut to the chase. Tsunade says. Late last night Sasuke Uchiha was kidnapped by the forces of Orochimaru and are undoubtedly headed towards the Sound Village. Orochimaru. Naruto's dazed mind instantly snaps into alert as adrenaline pumps through his veins. Oh shit. Shikamaru thinks as he feels the dark chakra resonating from Naruto. Shikamaru, Naruto, I need you to gather 3 more shinobi and run after Sasuke and the ninja who kidnapped him. Wait a second. What does a dangerous man like him want with Sasuke? The Sharingan. Naruto replies. He's after the Uchiha bloodline for something, and Makoto's too dangerous and his ninja can't go after me as I would slaughter them. The point is we don't have any time to lose. Tsunade says. I'm assigning you both your first mission as Chunin. To retrieve Sasuke, right? Correct. However, this mission must be completed quickly and there is bound to be trouble. The Sound Ninja 4 that accompanied Orochimaru during the Chunin exams. Naruto says. How do you know it was them? Tsunade asks. Madara and Hashirama told me about those ninja after the Chunin exams, and they are the only ones who could handle Sasuke, as anyone else would be too weak to stop him. For a mission like this we would need a squad of 3 composed of Junin or Chunin. Shikamaru says. I can't give you that. Tsunade looks down, slightly nervous. Why? You should know, besides the Junin that must stay, most are away from the village on missions. In the next 30 minutes gather as many exceptional genin that you can, then set off on your mission. Shikamaru and Naruto start to leave when Tsunade calls out. Naruto, I need you to stay for a minute. Yes, Lady Tsunade. Naruto says, refraining from using his preferred nickname for Tsunade. Shikamaru leaves and Naruto looks at Tsunade. Naruto, I'm sure that there is foul play involved, and if you can, I need you to get someone in Orochimaru's ranks for us as a spy. If you have to use his Koto Amatsukami, then do it, but we need someone close to the inner circle. How about Sasuke? Naruto asks. What? Sasuke's still a loyal Konoha shinobi. They used a friend against him, and even if he has turned against us, Koto Amatsukami will set him straight. Orochimaru would never suspect him, especially if you made it look like he went willingly even after intervention. I know exactly how to use Koto Amatsukami then. By the way, how the hell did you know I had it? Mikuru told me. That makes sense. Naruto says. Is there anything else you need of me, Lady Tsunade? No, that's it, Naruto. Naruto bows and leaves to find Shikamaru waiting for him. Let's go, Shikamaru. Right. Shikamaru responds. Then the two of them run off, and as they are running, Naruto turns to Shikamaru. You know exactly who we're getting. Yep, I already have them in mind. Just then they arrive at Choji's house. Shikamaru starts knocking on the door. Wake up, man. Shikamaru calls out. After a few minutes there is no response, so Shikamaru sighs. Guess there's no choice. Shikamaru sits down and pulls out a bag of potato chips and opens them. Naruto gives Shikamaru a weird look. Potato chips. Naruto says incredulously. They're barbecue flavored, you're helping. Shikamaru and Naruto start to eat them, and when they reach the last one, Naruto and Shikamaru both feel Choji coming. When he bursts out of the door, he grabs the chip. I refused to let anyone but me have the last bite. Choji says. I've been on Choji's team a long time, so asking him is a no-brainer, we work well. Oh. K. Naruto drawls out, completely confused. Just then, as Choji's about to take the bite, he sees a dark shape rushing toward him. Too late. Then Choji eats the chip and the figure is revealed to be Akamaru, and Kiba's standing behind him. Wait, don't tell me Shino's next. Naruto asks, genuinely interested in Shikamaru's choices. Shino's away on a special mission with his dad. Kiba responds. Okay then, Shino's out, that's just perfect. Can I make a request? Naruto asks. Sure. Who? Shikamaru asks. Neji ni-san, he's a master of the gentle fist and a great asset, and we should get Lee with us if we can. Good thinking, Naruto. Even if the Rinnegan is powerful, we can't rely on you to bail us out. That reminds me. Naruto reaches into his kunai pouch and hands each of them one of his Hirishin kunai. Keep this on you at all times in case you need help, just channel chakra into it and I'll know. Now let's go. The four of run off toward the gate as Naruto briefs them on the situation. So that's it, guess it was worth it to wake up this early. Kiba says. Just then Naruto feels Lee's and Neji's chakra at the top of a stairway, and the four of them rush towards it. Oi Neji ni-san, Lee. Naruto calls out. Neji and Lee jump down looking at Naruto, and he briefs them on the mission. Naruto-kun, I would love to join you on this youthful mission, but I'm still sore from my surgery and I would only be a hindrance. Lee says, slightly depressed. What about you, Neji? I can see why you chose me. If Lady Hinata accompanied us, you would be worried about her the entire time. I worry about you too, Ni-san. Naruto smiles and Neji laughs slightly at his younger brother. Let's go. Then, Naruto, Neji, Shikamaru, Choji, Kiba and Akamaru run towards the front gates, and then they swing open and Naruto expands his sensory abilities in order to pick up Sasuke's trail. Just then Lee walks up to bid them the best of luck on their mission. Who's letting? Both of us are Chunin. Shikamaru asks Naruto. Strategy's not my forte, so I think you should lead. Naruto responds. Alright then, I've got a plan, but you all need to do exactly as I say or we're all going to die. Everyone gives him a shocked look, but Naruto however gains a determined look. We need a formation in order to be able to counter an enemy ambush. We're going in a straight line formation, but since that is susceptible to ambush, our scout needs to be the front, so in other words that's you, Kiba. Kiba gets a shocked look. You walk Akamaru, so you know the land of fire very well, plus you can detect booby traps biased on the enemy's scent, and Sasuke, that is if Naruto's sensory abilities can't find him first. Next will be me, the squad leader. Being behind Kiba, I will be able to give orders based on the situations that unfold. Also I can give orders to the rest of you with hand signals. Next is the center. Third position is Naruto. You've got fast reaction time, shadow clones, the first's wood style, sensory abilities, and last but certainly not least is your Rinnegan, which can see barriers and chakra plus the 6 paths. I also want you to send that bird summon to watch the path ahead and any shortcuts and to get us an area we could use to cut them off. Right. Naruto nods. The fourth position is you, Choji. Second to Naruto, you pack the biggest wallop. Meaning if by some miracle they get past Naruto, you can finish them quickly. The last position is you, Neji. I'm going to have you handle the most difficult job as rear lookout. With the Byakugan you can check for blind spots in the line and account for them. Shikamaru takes out a pencil and scroll and unrolls the scroll and starts drawing on it. When he is finished, he looks at each member of his team. Look at your appointed scouting area depicted in this drawing. Kiba, you watch in front as will I, but I have a wider scope. Naruto, you take left, Choji the right, and Neji, you use your Byakugan for the entire rear area. Also I want to know what our battle strength is, so let me check your equipment and I will keep track of what you've got. Any questions? Everyone shakes their head while Lee watches with fascination. With the members he got in such a short time, he thought of a perfect formation so quickly. Lee thinks in awe. If not, let me say one last thing. This is the most important thing. Sasuke isn't a close friend of mine, but nevertheless he's a Konoha shinobi and as such our comrade, so we have to do the best we can to rescue him. That is the way of Konoha. This is way too troublesome for me to like, but I'm responsible for all of you. Everyone gives Shikamaru an encouraging smile. Then they show Shikamaru their equipment. Told you this guy would make a great chunin. Hashirama brags to Madara. Every part of me want to throw up simultaneously when I say this but. You were right. Madara says gagging. Alright, let's go. Everyone starts to leave when a voice calls out. Wait. Everyone turns to see Sakura standing there. Sakura, I heard what happened from Lady Tsunade. Unfortunately we can't take you with us, you have too much of an emotional attachment and we can't risk another incident. Shikamaru says. Plus she would just slow you guys down. Madara says. Ow Madara, that was harsh. Hashirama says. Sakura starts crying and she looks at the group in front of her. Naruto. I have only one favor to ask of you. Make those who kidnapped Sasuke suffer. Naruto smiles and gives her the thumbs up. They will suffer beyond imagining. Thank you. I will bring back Sasuke. Naruto says determinedly. Alright, let's head out. Then everyone leaps off in the direction of Sasuke's scent. Sakin, Tayuya, Jirobo and Kimimaro stop. This should be far enough. Sakin says. Right, let's get this over with. Kimimaro says. Sakin takes out a small bottle of pills and the opens Sasuke's mouth and then takes out a barrel with seals on it. Kimimaro feed him the pill, everyone else get ready. Kimimaro shoves the pill down Sasuke's throat and the unconscious Sasuke swallows it, then his face contorts in pain. Hurry or Sasuke will die. Jirobo places the unconscious Sasuke in the barrel and everyone gets into position and weaves the necessary hand signs. Then dark energy gathers from their palms and the surrounding area, then they thrust their hands down and the dark mist spirals into the barrel. 4 seals of the dark mist. The 4 cry out simultaneously and then the barrier seals itself and then Sakin throws 5 takes onto the barrel. Dark seal. The 5 tags lock the barrel shut. Good, the first part is done. Naruto suddenly stops dead in his tracks and everyone looks at him with confusion. Naruto, what's wrong? Neji asks. I just sensed a very dark power unleashed and this chakra feels pretty damn dark, not as dark as Madara's but dark nonetheless. Naruto says, shocked. This is bad. 5 cents just collided with 2 others and one of the cents is Sasuke's. Kiba says. The sound ninja 4, let's hurry. We can't be careless about what Naruto and Kiba have picked up, so we're changing from scout position and close in by walking slowly. Shikamaru says. If we go there, Sasuke will cross the border and be out of fire country. Neji says. I can see the sound ninja 4. Naruto says as his summon spots them and Naruto sees them through the linked vision. What are they doing? Resting, it looks like, and Sasuke's chakra's cold. Very cold, almost like Madara's. I think they did something to his curse seal and that chakra is more predominant now. We might encounter traps if there was a battle, don't be careless. Just then Akamaru lets loose a small whine. The enemy's scent is all over this area. Kiba says. Everyone stop. Shikamaru calls out and the 5 of them come to a stop. Trap barrier. Naruto says his Rinnegan, seeing the barrier clear as day. What do we do? Choji asks Shikamaru. I could go in and trigger it, then use my Susanoo to defend myself. If you do that could buy some time, but it's incredibly risky. Shikamaru says. Alright, I'll set it off. Naruto makes a hand sign. Wood style. Wood dome. A wood doom forms into emergence and Shikamaru, Neji, Kiba, Akamaru and Choji get behind it and Naruto activates his Susanoo and rushes into the clearly obviously laid trap. After Naruto gets into center, it explodes and causes a huge cloud of smoke and debris to scatter like shrapnel, but both the Susanoo and wood dome protect their individual inhabitants. You alright, Naruto? Neji calls out. Yeah, I'm okay. Naruto calls back. Good, if you were injured Lady Hinata would have my hide. Neji laughs. Sakin, Kimimaro, Tayuya and Jirobo were resting and Sakin grumbles out. We're in a hurry but we have to rest. It can't be helped, in stage 2 we consume a lot of energy. Tayuya responds. What's bad is that we can't use our bodies for a while. Jirobo continues. It couldn't be helped. Fighting against 2 Junin, if we had held back we would have lost. Kimimaro finishes. Alright, we're ready to go. Shikamaru says, but just as they are about to step forward, black flames sprout into existence at certain locations. Not one step any of you, I sense the enemy's ninjutsu in this area and this will lead us back to them, but be careful not to touch the black flames or you're dead. Kimimaro had spider strings wrapped around his fingers when suddenly they are start loosening and he gains a look of shock. Kimimaro, what's wrong? Sakin asks. My spider webs, they've all gone slack simultaneously, I think it's a fire jutsu. Kidomaru responds. So our enemy has fire style, could it be an Uchiha or that Naruto kid? Could be both, and if that's true then we're in big trouble. Yuya says. Just then Kidomaru's left index finger bursts alight with black flames. Ah! Kidomaru cries out in pain as the searing intensity of the flames consumes his index finger. Then he notices the other strings laced with the black flames and he quickly severs the connection, and when his whole hand bursts into flames, Kidomaru takes out a kunai and cuts off his second left hand. Kidomaru, what the hell? Sakin asks. Lord Orochimaru told us about those black flames. They consume anything they touch. If I hadn't done that I would be a smoldering pile of ashes right now. Got it. One. A voice calls out and Naruto steps out, his Susanoo rib cage surrounding him. How did you find us? Sakin asks. Naruto doesn't respond but merely points up at his bird summoning flying overhead. But when? From the beginning. Naruto smiles darkly. Now die. Naruto charge forward, gun by drawn and eyes ablaze with fury. You wish, kid, there are 4 of us and 1 of you, or should I say 5. Kidomaru pulls on a separate set of strings and Kiba, Shikamaru, Neji and Choji come flying in. When they realize they're caught, Kiba throws a smoke bomb. What's with the smoke bombs? You can't escape them, they are stronger than wire but thinner than paper. Just then Kidomaru's body freezes. What the? I can't move. Nice work Shikamaru, Kiba. Naruto smiles. Shadow possession jutsu complete. But I have this technique. Shikamaru says, smiling. Thanks for letting everything go according to my plan. You got me. Sakin says. But I still have this technique. Suddenly shuriken fly from behind at Shikamaru. What the? Shikamaru dodges to the left but one hits him and the shadow possession was ended. Jirobo started making hand signs. Earth style. Mud dome. The earth around them rises up in an impenetrable wall. Well, fuck, Naruto says. Way to sum up our entire situation in 2 simple words. Neji smiles. I'll take care of these kids. Jirobo says. Once you've finished eating, catch up with us. Sakin says. Kidomaru takes the barrel holding Sasuke and then they leap off towards the hidden sound. Naruto, any ideas on what to do? Shikamaru asks. No need Naruto, I'll get us out of this in no time. Kiba dropped to all 4s and starts channeling his chakra, then he leaps into the air and then starts rotating, tunneling Fang. Kiba slams into the wall and when debris from the attack clears, Kiba is clutching on the wall and a small dent visible but doesn't break. Kiba leaps away and when he does the wall starts to repair itself. The wall is repairing itself. Shikamaru thinks shocked, then he looks at Naruto and Neji. Any idea what's going on? Neji activates his Byakugan and when he does both Naruto and Neji widen their eyes in shock. The dome is stealing our chakra and it is using the chakra it steals to repair the dome as well as the recharge the guy outside. Neji says. Naruto smirks darkly then shouts out. Your power is nothing but a pale imitation of the Petra path of the Rinnegan, allow me to show you its true power. Naruto places his hand on the wall and then a voice is heard. You little brats are nothing compared to me, so why don't you just lie down and die? Almighty push. Naruto roars out and then every single part of the wall cracks and fragments but doesn't shatter. The walls then start to repair themselves. Naruto, Neji and Shikamaru notice that some of the parts start to repair more slowly than others. Neji. I see it Naruto. Neji replies. Hey you. Shikamaru shouts out, I want to speak to your leader. We won't peruse Sasuke anymore, so just let us out. Begging for your life, how interesting. However, you guys are my meal. So I'm not letting you out. Then one is enough. Shikamaru responds. Let me out. Kid, your chakra is in no imminent danger, but if this keeps up I'll have to refill your reserves, and if that happens you might just sprout the 4th tail. Kurama says, gaining Naruto's attention. We could use that to our advantage. What do you mean, Kit? Kurama lets fake him out, but it will have to feel real. You're as cunning as any fox, Kit. Kurama says, realizing Naruto's plan. Kurama, juice me when I say, but let me say a few things first to the guy outside. Right, Kit? Hey, whatever your name is, we've got a bit of a problem. Oh, and what would that be? Jirobo's voice calls out. I have a very unique situation. You see, I hold the 9-tailed fox and you see he and I don't get along very well, and if you keep draining our chakra he'll react in order to keep himself alive, and whenever I use his chakra the seal weakens, and if you don't stop and let us all out I'll start sprouting tails. And if I sprout the 4th tail I might just rip you apart and anything that you hold dear. Naruto says, then clutches his chest. Now Kurama, Instantly the red chakra of Kurama starts leaking over Naruto's skin. Suddenly loud screams of pain are heard and suddenly the dome collapses and when the look at Jirobo who was standing up looking pissed off. How did you do that? Demon chakra's more powerful than human chakra and your body isn't used to it and as such it started to break down your chakra coils. Naruto smiles then rushes in, and Kiba follows him and then Kiba starts spinning and shoots toward Jirobo. Tunneling Fang. Kiba rockets forward but Jirobo swats Kiba aside. The Naruto leaps in the air starts weaving hand signs. Fire style. Phoenix Flower Jutsu. Naruto roared out and 50 football-sized fireballs went roaring at Jirobo who has to dodge to the left only to slammed by a surprise attack from Neji. Then Jirobo jumps back and starts weaving and slams his hands on the ground. Earth style. Mud Dome. Useless. Petropath. Naruto absorbs the chakra behind the attack. How? Jirobo says shocked. The power of the Rinnegan. I told you that you're nothing but a cheap knockoff. Naruto slashes Jirobo across the chest drawing out some blood. Jirobo makes more hand signs and the earth below them all blows up and Jirobo lifts up a huge section of the earth. Earth style. Mud Ball. Jirobo throws the gigantic ball of earth at the group of 5. Naruto, if you've got any tricks up your sleeve now would be a time to use them. Kiba yells. Almighty push. Naruto roars and the earth ball goes rocketing backwards towards Jirobo who leaps out of the way and then starts weaving more hand signs but Naruto beat him to it and spits out a gigantic roaring fire ball, which collides with Jirobo. When the smoke clears Jirobo dissolves into mud. Just then he emerges from the ground and grabs Shikamaru's leg. You must be the squad leader, right? Jirobo smirks and looks at the others. Must be a burden to follow such a stupid leader. Stupid, that's not a word I would use to describe Shikamaru. Naruto says, whatever. Jirobo throws Shikamaru at the tree but Choji uses his expansion jutsu and human boulder to stop Shikamaru from getting hurt. Thanks Choji. Shikamaru says as he bounces off Choji's stomach and lands on his feet. I'm going to kill you all. You're just a bunch of kids with a stupid leader and that makes the 4 of you trash. Does Naruto need to drop a gigantic meteor on your ass? Naruto glares. If you keep sprouting crap like that and I'll fucking kill you. No Naruto, I'll fight him. Choji says. Choji. Shikamaru says in concern. Dude, this guy isn't someone you can take on alone. His chakra levels are at least 4 to 6 times higher than yours. Naruto says. I'll be the one to fight him. Choji says getting a dark look. Choji. You. Jirobo smiles darkly while Choji pulls out a small bag of solder pills and tosses them to Shikamaru. Shikamaru, give these solder pills to everyone. Choji says. Choji, don't tell me. Yes, I have that ready to use. But that's damn trash. I won't let you do what you want. Jirobo roars and he charges. Choji, look out. Naruto calls out. I'll finish you all right now. Choji dashes in front of the retrieval squad. Everyone go. Choji says as he takes out a small glass container with 3 sections and 1 different colored pill. Pills. Those aren't solder pills, so what are they? Jirobo thinks in confusion. First the green spinach pill. Choji eats the green pill. Move it or lose it, trash. Choji catches Jirobo's charge. Impossible, he stopped me. Shikamaru, take everyone and get out of here. Choji. Shikamaru says concerned. What was the purpose of this squad? If we lose Sasuke we'll be just what this guy said, a stupid leader and his band of trash. Everyone looks at Choji shocked. You better catch up later, Choji. Yeah. Go. Alright, let's get going. Right. Naruto, Neji and Kiba respond and then the 4 of them leap off into the forest. Choji. Shikamaru thinks concerned. I'll kill you quickly, you little rat, then go after your friends. Jirobo sneers. That won't be as easy as you think it is. Choji says as he starts pushing Jirobo back with pure strength. What? Choji keeps pushing until he's pushed Jirobo back several feet, then he stops and Jirobo starts laughing until Choji, using pure power, flips him and throws Jirobo, who slams into a tree. I will stop you. Shikamaru and the others were leaping through the forest when Shikamaru brings out the bag of solder pills. A parting gift from Choji. Eat up. Shikamaru says as he tosses the bag to Naruto. I got plenty of chakra to spare, but I'll take one, never hurts. Naruto responds and he eats a pill. Kiba. Naruto gets his attention, then throws the bag to him and Kiba eats one, then gives one to Akamaru. Shikamaru. Those pills that Choji had looked like some sort of trump card. Is there any chance of him winning? Neji says to his squad leader. That's what he said, right? Kiba asks. For this mission he brought the top secret pills of the Akamichi clan. They give the user an explosive burst of power. They're the green, yellow and red colored pills. In every one of those pills, there is an extremely huge amount of energy. However, a pill that good has to come with side effects. Naruto concludes. Correct. Dark Sasuke's chakra is gathering at an accelerated pace, but that shouldn't be happening. I cut him off from all sage chakra with the 5 prom. What the hell is going on? Naruto says to his 3 tenants. They must have done something to enhance the power behind the mark. That's the only thing I can think of that would work. Hashirama responds. That makes sense, but I finally figured out a way to kill Dark Sasuke forever. Madara continues. What did you come up with, Madara-sensei? Use the gift that Yami-sama gave you and remove the darkness from Sasuke's heart. This will cause the curse mark to manifest itself away from Sasuke, but that thing is most likely a parasite and will try to latch onto its host again, so before it can do that you will need to kill it. Then once you have, you will need a way to separate the consciousness from the body and transfer the chakra to Sasuke, but that part is the hard part because only Sasuke can try to take the power away and there's a risks. While he's trying to pull the chakra away, the curse mark's manifestation will do the same. Alright, now, how do I use Yami-sama's gift? Weave the hand signs dragon right pointing arrow bird right pointing arrow tiger and say Yami style, darkness removal. Kurama says. Thanks Kurama-ni. Choji was looking at a downed Jirobo when a sharp pain shot through his entire body. Damn, I only took the spinach pill and it hurts so much already. Choji thinks in pain. Shikamaru was mulling over what would happen to his friend if he took things too far. I hope Choji can finish things with just the green pill. Whatever you do, Choji, don't take the red pill. Shikamaru thinks. Choji gets over his pain and then glares at Jirobo. I'm finishing this now. Choji says determined, and he pulls out a bunch of kunai with ninja wire running through it and he wraps the kunai around him, then starts weaving hand signs. Expansion jutsu, then makes more hand signs. Spiky human boulder. Choji charges forward and Jirobo leaps to the side, then Choji changes directions and rolls at Jirobo, who starts weaving hand signs then slamming his palms on the ground. Earth style. Terra shield. The earth rises up and Choji slams into the wall and Jirobo smiles triumphantly. Just then the wall shatters and Choji comes barreling in. Toot, toot. Pain train coming through. Choji shouts. Jirobo has to grab Choji and eventually the rotation of the spiky human boulder stops, but not before several kunai make slight cuts. Did I get him? Choji thinks. Akamaru whines and Kiba nods. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Kiba says. What did Akamaru say? Naruto asks. You know how Akamaru can tell how powerful an enemy is through smell. Yeah. He's really worried about those pills and if they are enough to defeat that guy. That's true, if you think about it rationally. That big guy's power is unknown. The possibility of Choji defeating him on his own could be zero, but that is most often the case in battle. Choji looks on with triumph, but just then black markings sped over Jirobo's skin. You've really got on my nerves, trash. Jirobo jumps back then charges forward. Slamming palm. Choji goes flying back and the jutsu that transformed Choji is undone and he slams into a tree. You know, kid, there's a weakling in every group. They mock him. When the opportunity arises they drop him like the filth he is. I'm talking about you, kid. Choji remembers the times that everyone mocked and berated him. Just then Jirobo charges and starts throwing punches which Choji dodges, but the last one catches him. Knee strike. Jirobo slams his knee into Choji's gut. Shoulder charge. Choji gets rocketed back and Jirobo laughs at him. You were trash to the very end. You only seemed appealing at the very beginning. A typical type of trash like you weren't supposed to come to a place like this. You should blame your stupid leader. Choji glares at Jirobo, venom in his eyes. It's just as Neji said, that's just how battle is. This mission was never a game, lives are on the line. Shikamaru. Naruto says concerned. I've already imagined the worst case scenario where each of us has to end up fighting alone. If each of us aren't willing to risk our lives, we won't ever reach Sasuke. War is just the same, sometimes sacrifices must be made in order to win, it's how life works, Naruto. Madara says. Choji's a good guy but he lacks self-confidence. He thinks that he's the weakest in our group. Well, he kind of is. That's why he stayed back, so he could be of some use to us. Kiba says. Just as I thought. With Choji. But Choji thinks as Jirobo's fist connects with his cheek. But Shikamaru believes in me. Jirobo's knee slams into Choji's chin, and after a couple of seconds Choji gets up and takes out the yellow curry pill, and suddenly chakra explodes around Choji. That's why he trusted me with this fight. So you think that Choji wouldn't win, huh? But I know. More than me, or Neji, but not Naruto. Choji's got strength. What chakra, but not good enough for a main dish. Here I come, fat ass. How dare you call me that? Jirobo says as he charges. Partial expansion jutsu. Arm. Choji's arm expands to 5 times its size and he swats Jirobo away like a fly, then his arm retracts. Partial expansion jutsu. Leg. Choji slams his foot down in an attempt to crush Jirobo, but he dodges and his leg retracts. Partial expansion jutsu arm. Choji crushes Jirobo again, but Jirobo grabs him and tosses him away. Don't underestimate me, trash. Jirobo yells and Choji goes flying in the air, but Choji make the bird hand sign. Super expansion jutsu, and the huge Choji lands on and crushes Jirobo. I did it. Choji thinks with glee when suddenly he feels himself being lifted up. What? I can't believe I have to go into the second state against this guy. Jirobo says with disgust. Rising impact palm. Jirobo slams Choji in the gut and he goes flying into the air, then reverts to his original size. Choji looks over at Jirobo and with horror sees his red skin and darkened eyes. What's with that appearance? It's over. No one stands a chance against me in my second form. While in this form I can output 10 times more power. I can't move because of the pain. I didn't think the side effects from the curry pill would be so intense. Jirobo starts walking over to Choji with a dark sneer on his face. Because a piece of trash weakling like you came out to fight. You end up like this. Jirobo kicks Choji up in the air, then slams him with his fist. Playing ninja games suits guys like you. As Choji struggles to draw breath, he remembers how the kids back in the village used to make fun of him for his size and how he was useless in game of ninja because the team he was on always lost. Jirobo walks over again and slams his palm onto Choji's throat, and the ground around him fragments even more. Now that I'm in the second state, I'll need a lot more chakra, so I'll take the rest of yours. Jirobo starts absorbing Choji's chakra only for it to end as soon as it started. Quote, what dry already, damn trash, you've got nothing left. Jirobo throws Choji away and towards a bag of potato chips that he had been eating earlier. As Choji reached for it, Jirobo slams his foot on Choji's hand. Quote, I said I'm still hungry. Jirobo picks up the bag only to see there is only 1 chip left. Quote, of course, fat ass here left only 1 chip. Well, I guess I'll take what I can get. Jirobo eats the last potato chip. You were just a pawn ready to be thrown away like trash. You should just die, pig who's always left out by everyone. You were left here too. So aren't you a fat hypocrite? How dare you? Jirobo kicks Choji's rib cage and shatters the first and last rib. Don't worry, you're not the only one I will consume. After you're dead, I'll go after that heartless leader of yours and kill him too because he tossed you aside. Shikamaru was carving an arrow into a tree to give Choji the way they were going. Choji promised he'd catch up with us, so he will defeat that guy and catch up with us. Shikamaru says. Yep, that guy can do anything he sets his mind to. Naruto says. Might as well carve him a message. Kiba says, and he carved in, hurry up slowpoke, he's late. That Jirobo. Sakin says. He's a gluttonous fat ass, he'll probably drain the chakra to the bone. To Yuya responds. I want to switch soon. Kimimaro says. As they continue through the forest, Jirobo crumpled up the bag and throws it at Choji. Here, you can have it back. Jirobo snarls. Well then, if I waste my time, I won't catch up. So I guess I'll finish this now. The only pill left is the red pepper one, but if I swallow that one, I'll die. Choji thinks, then he remembers his friends and how he first became friends with Shikamaru. This guy must be defeated even if it costs me my life. This is the end. Choji takes out the red pill and eats it, but just as he's about to swallow, Jirobo slams his palm down. Pressure palm. Jirobo slams his palm where Choji was lying only for Choji to not be there. Suddenly, chakra butterflies start swarming around Choji and he sprouts chakra wings. What is that? Jirobo clenches his fist. However, boulder strike. Jirobo throws a super enhanced fist at Choji, but he catches the fist. It's useless, I'm 100 times stronger than I was before. Choji the spins and elbows Jirobo in the gut, which sends Jirobo flying, then Choji spins and leaps toward the collapsed Jirobo. They say that the grudge of overeating is dreadful. But that was for eating my last chip. Impossible, his chakra has completely changed his appearance, and this. Choji punches Jirobo, sending him farther back. Making fun of me by calling me a pawn to be tossed away in a fat ass. Choji walks over to Jirobo. But what I can't ever forgive is, insult a best friend. Choji's chakra gathers in his hand. That's worse than eating someone else's last bite of an expensive meal. That's worse than calling me a fat ass. Choji's chakra-enhanced fist glows even brighter than before. That's unforgivable, and for that you must die. Choji steps on Jirobo's hand. All my chakra to my left hand. This is bad. This next attack is worth more than my life. Wait, don't rush it. Jirobo says in fear. Die. Choji slams his fist into Jirobo and he shatters all his internal organs simultaneously and kills him. The curse mark recedes and Jirobo lies there while Choji struggles to his feet and starts walking towards the woods as his vision fades and he follows, which collides with Jirobo. When the smoke clears, Jirobo dissolves into mud. Just then he emerges from the ground and grabs Shikamaru's leg. You must be the squad leader, right? Jirobo smirks and looks at the others. Must be a burden to follow such a stupid leader. Stupid, that's not a word I would use to describe Shikamaru. Naruto says. Whatever. Jirobo throws Shikamaru at the tree, but Choji uses his expansion jutsu and human boulder to stop Shikamaru from getting hurt. Thanks, Choji. Shikamaru says as he bounces off Choji's stomach and lands on his feet. I'm going to kill you all. You're just a bunch of kids with a stupid leader, and that makes the four of you trash. Does Naruto need to drop a gigantic meteor on your ass? Naruto glares. If you keep sprouting crap like that, and I'll fucking kill you. No, Naruto, I'll fight him. Choji says. Choji. Shikamaru says in concern. Dude, this guy isn't someone you can take on alone. His chakra levels are at least 4 to 6 times higher than yours. Naruto says. I'll be the one to fight him. Choji says, getting a dark look. Choji. You. Jirobo smiles darkly while Choji pulls out a small bag of solder pills and tosses them to Shikamaru. Shikamaru, give these solder pills to everyone. Choji says. Choji, don't tell me. Yes, I have that ready to use. But that's damn trash. I won't let you do what you want. Jirobo roars and he charges. Choji, look out. Naruto calls out. I'll finish you all right now. Choji dashes in front of the retrieval squad. Everyone go. Choji says as he takes out a small glass container with 3 sections and 1 different colored pill. Pills. Those aren't solder pills, so what are they? Jirobo thinks in confusion. First the green spinach pill. Choji eats the green pill. Move it or lose it, trash. Choji catches Jirobo's charge. Impossible, he stopped me. Shikamaru, take everyone and get out of here. Choji. Shikamaru says concerned. What was the purpose of this squad? If we lose Sasuke, we'll be just what this guy said, a stupid leader and his band of trash. Everyone looks at Choji shocked. You better catch up later, Choji. Yeah, go. Alright, let's get going. Right. Naruto, Neji and Kiba respond and then the 4 of them leap off into the forest. Choji. Shikamaru thinks concerned. I'll kill you quickly, you little rat, then go after your friends. Jirobo sneers. That won't be as easy as you think it is. Choji says as he starts pushing Jirobo back with pure strength. What? Choji keeps pushing until he's pushed Jirobo back several feet, then he stops and Jirobo starts laughing until Choji, using pure power, flips him and throws Jirobo, who slams into a tree. I will stop you. Shikamaru and the others were leaping through the forest when Shikamaru brings out the bag of solder pills. A parting gift from Choji. Eat up. Shikamaru says as he tosses the bag to Naruto. I got plenty of chakra to spare, but I'll take one, never hurts. Naruto responds and he eats a pill. Kiba. Naruto gets his attention, then throws the bag to him and Kiba eats one, then gives one to Akamaru. Shikamaru. Those pills that Choji had looked like some sort of trump card. Is there any chance of him winning? Neji says to his squad leader. That's what he said, right? Kiba asks. For this mission he brought the top secret pills of the Akamichi clan. They give the user an explosive burst of power. They're the green, yellow and red colored pills. In every one of those pills, there is an extremely huge amount of energy. However, a pill that good has to come with side effects. Naruto concludes. Correct. Dark Sasuke's chakra is gathering at an accelerated pace, but that shouldn't be happening. I cut him off from all Sage chakra with the 5 prom. What the hell is going on? Naruto says to his 3 tenants. They must have done something to enhance the power behind the mark. That's the only thing I can think of that would work. Hashirama responds. That makes sense, but I finally figured out a way to kill Dark Sasuke forever. Madara continues. What did you come up with, Madara-sensei? Use the gift that Yami-sama gave you and remove the darkness from Sasuke's heart. This will cause the curse mark to manifest itself away from Sasuke, but that thing is most likely a parasite and will try to latch onto its host again, so before it can do that you will need to kill it. Then once you have, you will need a way to separate the consciousness from the body and transfer the chakra to Sasuke, but that part is the hard part because only Sasuke can try to take the power away and there's a risks. While he's trying to pull the chakra away, the curse mark's manifestation will do the same. Alright, now, how do I use Yami-sama's gift? Weave the hand signs dragon right pointing arrow bird right pointing arrow tiger and say Yami style, darkness removal. Kurama says. Thanks Kurama-ni. Choji was looking at a downed Jirobo when a sharp pain shot through his entire body. Damn, I only took the spinach pill and it hurts so much already. Choji thinks in pain. Shikamaru was mulling over what would happen to his friend if he took things too far. I hope Choji can finish things with just the green pill. Whatever you do, Choji, don't take the red pill. Shikamaru thinks. Choji gets over his pain and then glares at Jirobo. I'm finishing this now. Choji says determined, and he pulls out a bunch of kunai with ninja wire running through it and he wraps the kunai around him, then starts weaving hand signs. Expansion jutsu, then makes more hand signs. Spiky human boulder. Choji charges forward and Jirobo leaps to the side, then Choji changes directions and rolls at Jirobo, who starts weaving hand signs then slamming his palms on the ground. Earth style. Terra shield. The earth rises up and Choji slams into the wall and Jirobo smiles triumphantly. Just then the wall shatters and Choji comes barreling in. Toot, toot. Pain train coming through. Choji shouts. Jirobo has to grab Choji and eventually the rotation of the spiky human boulder stops, but not before several kunai make slight cuts. Did I get him? Choji thinks. Akamaru whines and Kiba nods. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Kiba says. What did Akamaru say? Naruto asks. You know how Akamaru can tell how powerful an enemy is through smell. Yeah. He's really worried about those pills and if they are enough to defeat that guy. That's true, if you think about it rationally. That big guy's power is unknown. The possibility of Choji defeating him on his own could be zero, but that is most often the case in battle. Choji looks on with triumph, but just then black markings sped over Jirobo's skin. You've really got on my nerves, trash. Jirobo jumps back then charges forward. Slamming palm. Choji goes flying back and the jutsu that transformed Choji is undone and he slams into a tree. You know, kid, there's a weakling in every group. They mock him. When the opportunity arises they drop him like the filth he is. I'm talking about you, kid. Choji remembers the times that everyone mocked and berated him. Just then Jirobo charges and starts throwing punches which Choji dodges, but the last one catches him. Knee strike. Jirobo slams his knee into Choji's gut. Shoulder charge. Choji gets rocketed back and Jirobo laughs at him. You were trash to the very end. You only seemed appealing at the very beginning. A typical type of trash like you weren't supposed to come to a place like this. You should blame your stupid leader. Choji glares at Jirobo, venom in his eyes. It's just as Neji said, that's just how battle is. This mission was never a game, lives are on the line. Shikamaru. Naruto says, concerned. I've already imagined the worst case scenario where each of us has to end up fighting alone. If each of us aren't willing to risk our lives, we won't ever reach Sasuke. War is just the same, sometimes sacrifices must be made in order to win, it's how life works, Naruto. Madara says. Choji's a good guy but he lacks self-confidence. He thinks that he's the weakest in our group. Well, he kind of is, that's why he stayed back so he could be of some use to us. Kiba says. Just as I thought. With Choji. But Choji thinks as Jirobo's fist connects with his cheek. But Shikamaru believes in me. Jirobo's knee slams into Choji's chin and after a couple of seconds Choji gets up and takes out the yellow curry pill and suddenly chakra explodes around Choji. That's why he trusted me with this fight. So you think that Choji wouldn't win, huh? But I know. More than me, or Neji but not Naruto. Choji's got strength. What charka but not good enough for a main dish. Here I come, fat ass. How dare you call me that? Jirobo says as he charges. Partial expansion jutsu. Arm. Choji's arm expands to 5 times its size and he swats Jirobo away like a fly, then his arm retracts. Partial expansion jutsu. Leg. Choji slams his foot down in an attempt to crush Jirobo but he dodges and his leg retracts. Partial expansion jutsu arm. Choji crushes Jirobo again but Jirobo grabs him and tosses him away. Don't underestimate me, trash. Jirobo yells and Choji goes flying in the air but Choji make the bird hand sign. Super expansion jutsu, and the huge Choji lands on and crushes Jirobo. I did it. Choji thinks with glee when suddenly he feels himself being lifted up. What? I can't believe I have to go into the second state against this guy. Jirobo says with disgust. Rising impact palm. Jirobo slams Choji in the gut and he goes flying into the air then reverts to his original size. Choji looks over at Jirobo and with horror sees his red skin and darkened eyes. What's with that appearance? It's over, no one stands a chance against me in my second form, while in this form I can output 10 times more power. I can't move because of the pain, I didn't think the side effects from the curry pill would be so intense. Jirobo starts walking over to Choji with a dark sneer on his face. Because a piece of trash weakling like you came out to fight. You end up like this. Jirobo kicks Choji up in the air then slams him with his fist. Playing ninja games. Suits guys like you. As Choji struggles to draw breath he remembers how the kids back in the village used to make fun of him for his size and how he was useless in game of ninja because the team he was on always lost. Jirobo walks over again and slams his palm onto Choji's throat and the ground around him fragments even more. Now that I'm in the second state I'll need a lot more chakra so I'll take the rest of yours. Jirobo starts absorbing Choji's chakra only for it to end as soon as it started. Quote. What dry already, damn trash, you've got nothing left. Jirobo throws Choji away and towards a bag of potato chips that he had been eating earlier. As Choji reached for it Jirobo slams his foot on Choji's hand. Quote. I said I'm still hungry. Jirobo picks up the bag only to see there is only 1 chip left. Quote. Of course, fat ass here left only 1 chip. Well, I guess I'll take what I can get. Jirobo eats the last potato chip. You were just a pawn ready to be thrown away like trash. You should just die, pig who's always left out by everyone. You were left here too, so aren't you a fat hypocrite? How dare you? Jirobo kicks Choji's rib cage and shatters the first and last rib. Don't worry, you're not the only one I will consume. After you're dead I'll go after that heartless leader of yours and kill him too because he tossed you aside. Shikamaru was carving an arrow into a tree to give Choji the way they were going. Choji promised he'd catch up with us so he will defeat that guy and catch up with us. Shikamaru says. Yep, that guy can do anything he sets his mind to. Naruto says. Might as well carve him a message. Kiba says and he carved in, hurry up slowpoke. He's late. That Jirobo. Sakin says. He's a gluttonous fat ass, he'll probably drain the chakra to the bone. To Yuya responds. I want to switch soon. Kimimaro says. As they continue through the forest. Jirobo crumpled up the bag and throws it at Choji. Here, you can have it back. Jirobo snarls. Well then, if I waste my time, I won't catch up. So I guess I'll finish this now. The only pill left is the red pepper one, but if I swallow that one, I'll die. Choji thinks, then he remembers his friends and how he first became friends with Shikamaru. This guy must be defeated even if it costs me my life. This is the end. Choji takes out the red pill and eats it, but just as he's about to swallow Jirobo slams his palm down. Pressure palm. Jirobo slams his palm where Choji was lying only for Choji to not be there. Suddenly, Chakra butterflies start swarming around Choji and he sprouts chakra wings. What is that? Jirobo clenches his fist. However, boulder strike. Jirobo throws a super enhanced fist at Choji, but he catches the fist. It's useless, I'm 100 times stronger than I was before. Choji the spins and elbows Jirobo in the gut, which sends Jirobo flying. Then Choji spins and leaps toward the collapsed Jirobo. They say that the grudge of overeating is dreadful. But that was for eating my last chip. Impossible, his chakra has completely changed his appearance. And this. Choji punches Jirobo, sending him farther back. Making fun of me by calling me a pawn to be tossed away in a fat ass. Choji walks over to Jirobo. But what I can't ever forgive is insulting my best friend. Choji's chakra gathers in his hand. That's worse than eating someone else's last bite of an expensive meal. That's worse than calling me a fat ass. Choji's chakra enhanced fist glows even brighter than before. That's unforgivable, and for that you must die. Choji steps on Jirobo's hand. All my chakra to my left hand. This is bad. This next attack is worth more than my life. Wait, don't rush it. Jirobo says in fear. Die. Choji slams his fist into Jirobo and he shatters all his internal organs simultaneously and kills him. The curse mark recedes and Jirobo lies there while Choji struggles to his feet and starts walking towards the woods as his vision fades and he follows a chakra butterfly and sees the messages that his friends left for him. Choji remembers his father's words and how well his friends believed in him, and tears start streaming from his eyes. Dad, I made lots of friends. Then Choji's heart stops and he collapses and his vision fades completely. Just then he hears a second voice call out. Nakara path. And Choji feels himself being picked up by something, and then he feels his strength returning and his heart starts up again, and when his vision returns he sees Naruto standing there, a smile on his face. Naruto. But how? I'm not Naruto, I'm a wood clone that boss sent when he felt your chakra disappear. He thought that you would need help. Guess he was right. Naruto's clone responds. But how did you get here so fast? The Hirishin Kunai that boss gave you, I won't lie, that took a lot of chakra, but using Nakara path and the Kyuubi's help I was able to help you. Naruto's clone then slams his hands together. Wood clone jutsu. The second clone lifts Choji up and slings him over his shoulder. Let's get you back to the Leaf Village, I have some business I need to take care of here. The clone says and he leaps off with Choji slung over his shoulder. The second clone walks over to where Jirobo lays. What to do with you, eh? I really hate to see another life screwed over by Orochimaru. I guess I could help you and make you one of my paths, but which one would suit you the best? Naruto snaps his fingers. Of course Petra, then. Let's get started, shall we? Naruto starts weaving hand signs. Summoning jutsu. Geto statue. The demon statue emerges from the ground and Naruto fells 2 chakra sources coming from the statue. What the hell, why are there 2 chakra sources coming from this? It's the Jubi's body. Madara says. What, why didn't you tell us this before? Hashirama yells. You didn't ask. Madara responds. That means 2 of my kin have been captured. Kurama says, but which 2? If I remember correctly they corresponding I represent one Biju, the one in the center is Kurama's, but according to the tablet the one on the far upper left is the Gobi and the one below it is the Yanbi, the one next to it, Sanbi, above Sanbi is Rokubi. The one next to the other open one on the top is Shukaku, below Shukaku is the Hachibi and next to the Hachibi is the Nibi and the open on is Nanabi. Madara says. Chome and Kokuo. Kurama says. We have names, Chome and Kokuo were already captured. This is all my fault. Madara says. It's okay Madara. Hashirama pats his friend on the back. Anyway, let's make what's his face here Petra. Naruto says as he takes out a huge section of chakra rods and starts inserting them into Jirobo. If you want to know where Naruto put them, just look up Petra path on Google. Then Naruto calls out. Nakara path. The King of Hell rises up again and Naruto throws Jirobo into its open mouth. The King of Hell chews on Jirobo then spits him back out. Where am I? Jirobo asks. He looks at Naruto. You. Jirobo goes to throw a punch but with a single hand sign Naruto stops Jirobo dead in his tracks. Yahaha. No. Naruto says. What? Did you do to me? I have made you stronger than you were before. I once told you that your ability was nothing but a cheap knockoff of the power of the Rinnegan. I have made you Petra Path, the path that can absorb all forms of ninjutsu thrown at you, and you can absorb an infinite amount of chakra. WH.Y. Would.you help me? Because Orochimaru has ruined your life and I hate it when people take advantage of others. WH. What will you do if I turn on you? I will kill you. However, I'm not going to scare you into loyalty. I instead offer you a choice. You can become one of my paths or you can return to hell and be judged for your sins. The choice is entirely up to you. Naruto's clone looks at Jirobo waiting for an answer. I will serve you, but what about my curse mark? It was destroyed upon your death so Orochimaru can't use it against you. Very well. What is your name? Naruto asks. I am Jirobo. Welcome Jirobo. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I am the sage of the six paths reborn and I have been given the job of bring peace to this world and stop the Akatsuki and their plan for the nine-tailed beasts. I will help you on the quest Rakuto-sama. Jirobo bows to Naruto. Please just call me Naruto, but I am confused as to why you've taken me up on my offer so easily. Your chakra seems kinder than Orochimaru's and you aren't treating me like a tool. You actually care to learn my name. You brought me back from the dead. You don't seem to care that I was once your enemy and you've given me a second chance. For that you have earned my respect and my loyalty. Works for me. Naruto shrugs his shoulders, then the clone and Jirobo leap towards where the others were. Naruto clone number 2 has Choji slung over his shoulder and he's been jumping at level 5 of weight seals, getting Choji back to the leaf as fast as possible. When Naruto arrives at the leaf, he knocks on the door to the Hokage's office. Naruto, what are you doing here? Tsunade asks. I'm a clone. I've brought Choji with me because he used the Akamichi clan's triple threat and he needs medical attention. I've done my best with Nakara Path, but I thought you could do more for him. That was a wise decision, Naruto. I'll take Choji from here. Dispel yourself and I'll handle the rest. Tsunade says. Yes, Lady Tsunade. Naruto says and then dissolves into wood. The 4 remaining members of the Sasuke retrieval squad were leaping through the forest when Akamaru sniffed the air, then barked. They're close. Kiba says. Excellent, let's fuck him up. Naruto says, determined. Suddenly he clutches his head and cried out in pain. Naruto, what's wrong? Shikamaru asks. It's nothing, I'm just getting used to triple vision, especially when I'm looking at 3 different things at once. What are you talking about? You remember that guy who caught us in the Earth Dome? Yeah. Well, I made him one of my paths after I restored his life. What? Kiba yells out. Why would you do that, Naruto? Neji asks. Don't worry, he is loyal to me and if he turns on us I'll kill him, plain and simple. So what path is he? Petra Path, but that's not the point. Let go rescue Sasuke ni-san. Naruto says as they continue. Neji activates his Byakugan and scans the area ahead of them. That's odd, I don't see any traps ahead of us. They don't expect us to get past their friend. Then they underestimated us. Kiba says, a dark look on his face. It appears so. Naruto says. That's a mistake, but now we have an opportunity to counterstrike and take back Sasuke. Neji says. Yeah, we'll take them by surprise. Kimimaro, Tayuya and Saken were leaping through the forest, getting more annoyed as they went. Jirobo's late. Saken says, annoyed. No, he's not, he's here. Kimimaro says, and just then a shape-shifted Naruto leaps up and catches up to them. Sheesh, what took you so long? Saken asks. Sorry, it took longer to suck the chakra out of those pieces of trash than I thought. Naruto said in Jirobo's voice. You fat ass, don't waste time. Tayuya says. Hurry up and take the barrel, that's your job, you piece of shit. Ladies shouldn't talk like that. Shut up, asshole. That really is Jirobo and not the enemy, like we thought. Kimimaro thinks. Catch. Kimimaro tosses Naruto the barrel. Thanks, dumbass. Naruto says and his Rinnegan reappears, then switches to his eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Amaterasu. Kimimaro bursts into flames as the searing agony erupts through his whole body. Damn you leaf shits. Tayuya shouts as Kimimaro drops to the ground in a desperate attempt to put out the flames. Next victim. Naruto looks at Sasuke and his Susanoo rising up. Just then a barrage of golden-colored kunai connects with Naruto's Susanoo but nothing happens. So you survived my Amaterasu, how'd you do it? Naruto asks, genuinely interested. My secret. Kimimaro responds. Naruto drops his Susanoo and suddenly 2 golden kunai stab into Naruto's hands, causing him to drop the barrel. Damn. Naruto curses as the barrel is picked up to Yuya. I'll handle this, take Sasuke-sama and go. Kimimaro says, and to Yuya and Sasuke dash off while Naruto runs after them only to captured by huge spider web that Kimimaro had shot in front of him. This won't stop us, Naruto says as he locks eyes with Kimimaro. Tsukuyomi. But before Kimimaro was trapped, he shuts his eyes, cancelling Naruto's Tsukuyomi. Just then Akamaru and Kiba shoot in with a cry of Iron Fang over Fang. Kiba and Akamaru go spinning in at high speeds, but Kimimaro dodges Kiba's attack and he shoots out a spider web where Kiba and Akamaru land, stick them where they stand. Kimimaro makes a few hand signs and starts hanging upside down when Neji appears right behind him. Gotcha. Neji thinks triumphantly, only for Kimimaro to dodge, and Kimimaro makes a huge amount of spider silk and fires it at Neji, who gets caught in it. Here I spin you a cocoon. Kimimaro spins a cocoon around Neji and captures him. Neji ni. Naruto cries out and starts channeling chakra in his hands. Almighty push. The webbing that encased Naruto was blasted away and Naruto shoots off a fire jutsu that sets Kiba and Akamaru free. Then Shikamaru jumps up to provide the final backup, only for Naruto to hold him back. Wait, this guy is dangerous. Just then, Kimimaro fires another strand at Naruto, but with a few hand signs Naruto roasts it again. Kimimaro leaps up intent on stabbing Naruto with a kunai he made, only for Neji to grab Naruto and carry him out of the way. Neji. Thanks for buying me some time, Naruto. Neji says. No problem. Now it's my turn, bastard. Naruto slams his palms together. Wood style. Deep forest bloom. The flowers of jutsu emerge and start releasing the pollen, and Kimimaro inhales some and drops to the ground, struggling to maintain consciousness. Damn, I inhaled some of the pollen, now they can get past me. Not. Kimimaro gets back up on his feet and jumps above the pollen. Naruto, Kiba, Shikamaru, get out of here, I'll handle this guy, after all his techniques are venerable to mine. Neji says to his teammates. Right. Kiba and the others say, and they leap off, but Naruto looks back with concern for his brother. Be safe. Neji ni. Naruto thinks as Neji disappears from his sight. I'm not letting you get away that easily. Kimimaro shouts out as he fires a golden-tipped web at the others. Neji activates his Byakugan and slices the webs. Not good enough. Not bad, not bad, Kimimaro says. Then he fires a web at Neji, who slices it in half using his Juken. It's useless, Neji says confidently. You're obviously the stronger amongst those kids, so I guess I'll play with you a little. Fine. Let's play, I'll kill you in 3 minutes or less. Kimimaro starts throwing spider webs at Neji, but he keeps slicing them, then dodging others when one slips through, then pins Neji, then 2 more stop Neji's hands from moving. I caught you. You are very talented at suing chakra and you have very sharp eyes. Using the chakra from the openings in your hands, you emit a sharp, needle-like chakra, then you cut through the thinnest part of the web with absolute accuracy. I heard this from Lord Orochimaru, it's the technique you call Juken, but if you can't sue your annoying hands, you can't cut through my web. Neji smirks at his opponent's foolishness. When you have a guidebook or a game, it becomes boring. It's only been a minute, but I'm tired of you already. Kimimaro starts molding chakra in his mouth, but Neji starts focusing his chakra. Die. Kimimaro shoots a huge thick strand of golden web. Sticky spider thread. Neji blasts his chakra out, shredding the spider threads that kept him trapped, and he jumps over the thread. What? Kimimaro thinks in shock. Neji runs along the line of the thread and drops into a Juken stance. How did he? I'll let you know. It's not just my hands, I can emit chakra from any one of the chakra points, and this what you would call game over. 8 trigrams 64 palms. This is bad. 8 trigrams 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms, 64 palms. Kimimaro goes rocketing back and hits the ground with a huge crash. Just then a shape in the dust gets back up. Into Neji's shock, it is revealed that Kimimaro has golden skin that starts cracking and falling off in huge chunks. When Neji looks at with his Byakugan, he sees that it's the same thing that Kimimaro had fired from his mouth. What the hell is happening? Neji thinks in shock. That was dangerous. I heard that if one takes even one direct hit from Juken, their chakra network would be damned with, prevents them from using chakra. It was a very close call. Are you some kind of monster? Looks like it's not only from your mouth. My sticky spider thread is a metal that hardens instantly when it comes out. It also doesn't let chakra trough, and I can excrete it not only through my mouth as you've seen, but from every sweat gland in my body. The strange substances coats his hand again, then he breaks it. Attacking his chakra points is useless. Is that how it is? Guess I'm going to have to use mountain break and air palm if I'm going to win this. My spider thread is useless and close range combat is suicide, so my only option is long range combat, but fortunately that's to my advantage. Just then Kimimaro vanishes and Neji looks on in shock. Then he starts looking around for Kimimaro when suddenly a kunai with a paper bomb attacked to it comes flying in out of nowhere. Neji leaps to the left. When nothing happens, Neji looks up and to see a large barrage of the golden kunai come flying at him from all directions. Neji starts spinning. 8 trigrams. Rotation. Neji exerts his chakra and the chakra starts blocking all the kunai and they hit the forest floor in random directs. What the hell? Does he have eyes in the back of his head? And that defense Itsude chakra to repel a physical attack. 8 trigrams air palm. Neji roared out and the blast of air rocketed toward Kimimaro. I know you're there. Come out. Can he actually see me? I thought those eyes only saw the chakra network, but I guess I was wrong. Kimimaro looks at Neji in shock. Long-range combat is not to my advantage as I don't have that many long-range techniques. Very well. Kimimaro jumped down and hung upside down from a tree branch as his curse mark spread over his body. This game, I will admit that his has a higher level of difficulty than I intended. I'm going to be serious from now on. Neji observes Kimimara's chakra levels skyrocketing. What the hell? His chakra is completely different than before, and those markings, they're just like Sasuke's. Just then Kimimaro bites his thumb and starts making hand signs. Summoning jutsu. Just then a huge spider appears with an ever bigger web that it was standing on. Your abilities, I will find a way around it. The spider starts to excrete a large egg sac as big as her. If he prevents physical attacks with that spin by releasing a large amount of chakra, then all I have to do is stop that. Rotation. Kimimaro thinks, then he opens his mouth and more gold webbing comes out and takes the shape of a kunai. Then Kimimaro jumps up and slashes the egg sac. Die. Suddenly hundreds of spiders started falling and Neji's eyes widen in shock. Rotation. Neji starts spinning, knocking the spiders away, but the thread they were attached to started to swirl around him. Neji's rotation started to slow down and Kimimara's eyes widen with glee. He's starting to slow down. Kimimaro prepares to throw the kunai, and when Neji stops rotating he throws the kunai at Neji. Die. Neji sees the kunai coming and at the last second Neji expels a bunch of chakra and it deflects the kunai and sends it right back at Kimimaro. He released chakra at the last minute to deflect the kunai. Kimimaro jumps back into the upper levels of the forest. He's trying to stop my rotation by spinning a chakra web around me. This guy. I have to cut this at the source at once. Neji thinks as he slices the webs away from his skin. If I can't use the rotation, then I will have to dodge every single one. This kid's your typical close range type. So long as I keep my distance, then I have nothing to worry about. Kimimaro leaps through the trees and hides in one of the bushes. I must stay back and observe you from a distance. Just then a huge barrage of kunai goes flying in at Neji that Kimimaro had fired. Well shit. Neji jumps into the air to avoid all the kunai, only for a second volley to fly at him. Neji deflects one and dodges the rest as he flips in the air, then lands on his feet only to see another rain of spiders flying at him. Neji drops into his traditional stance. 8 trigrams 64 palms. Neji sends a flurry of blows at the spiders, however for every one Neji defeated 5 more took its place. There's so many of them. Neji drops into another Juken stance, then shifts it slightly, expanding his range. He changed his stance. 8 trigrams 128 palms. Neji starts throwing an increased barrage of blows, killing the spiders as fast as they spawn. The number of blows has doubled. If I take a direct attack from that, I'm dead. However, two can play at the numbers game. A huge amount of spiders rain from the sky and Neji tries to react. There's too many of them, I won't make it. Neji starts trying to rotate only for the spiders to stop him. As I thought, I can't use the rotation. Just then a bunch of kunai fly at him and Neji drops to the ground, however one of the kunai grazes his shoulder. Interesting. One got through. Looks like his field of vision is 360 degrees. He also uses a combination of abilities, seeing through and seeing at a distance, in order to deal with an enemy's attacks. In addition to his 360-degree field of vision, he has an amazing wide view of the area. If I can calculate his view based on his reactions from earlier, he was able to completely perceive all kunai that got within a 50 meters radius. However, there was one kunai that he wasn't able to dodge. Kimimaro lets loose another flurry of kunai and more spiders rain down. Neji drops into a stance. 8 trigrams 6. Neji stops because of a pain digging into this back and the spiders start swarming around him. How about more than? Kimimaro unleashes another flurry of kunai and spiders. Neji dodges the kunai and strikes at the spiders. This time 2 should get through. And true to his hypothesis, 2 kunai strike Neji in the back and Neji collapses on the ground. Kimimaro starts laughing like a maniac. I've found the complete strategy against you. Kimimaro calls out with glee. It seems like that defensive move you use was to compensate for that weakness. In other words, your dojutsu isn't perfect. Neji struggles to his feet. Why bother, the game's over. Neji starts breathing hard. Hey, are you still trying so hard even though it's pointless? Thrash characters like you in a game always go down first. You can't beat me. Neji remembers Lee's pure determination to beat him, then Naruto's power and how against the odds he fought and beat the One Tail. This will be your end. Kimimaro plucks a spider string that lets off a sound and the gigantic spider descends in order to crush Neji, but Neji kills it with a Juken strike to the spider, making it explode in a flurry of silk, holding Neji down. Then Kimimaro unleashes a flurry of kunai and this time 3 strike Neji in the back. This was fun for a shitty game anyway. Kimimaro turns to leave when Neji stands back up determined, and Kimimoro's curse mark spreads over his entire body and he transforms into his second state transformation. Here's my thanks, kid, for letting me play a little while longer. Kimimaro forms a bow out of his sticky spider web. We're all here then? Mikuru asks. And everyone nods. Okay, I shall explain the mission. Mikuru says, late last night Sasuke was abducted from the village. If they hurt one hair on my baby's head, I kill them. Makoto thinks with fierce anger. Shikamaru Nara, Naruto Uzumaki, Choji Akamichi, Neji Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka and Akamaru were deployed to go after the abductors, and I can sense Rock Lee has gone after them as well. No doubt to test out his new body in the field of battle. Good on ya, Lee. Guy thinks at his students' flames of youth. Lady Tsunade has her doubts of success because of these. Mikuru says, showing photos of the Junin ninja who had encountered the Sound Ninja 4. If you want out, stay. If you're in, we move out. I'm in, Kakashi says. No surprise there, Mikuru thinks. If Lee's gone after them, then so will I, says a certain bowl-cut Junin. Again, no surprise there. Those bastards have taken my son. I'm in, come hell or high water, says one Kunoichi emulating an angry Kushina. Alright, let's move. The 4 Junin plus Kakashi's ninja hounds sprang into action, running out of gate. Kimimaro draws his bow with his teeth. Striking accuracy 100%, destructive power maximum. Neji struggles to keep standing with the kunai in his back. Quote. Die. Kimimaro fires the arrow at Neji, who in his weakened state Neji couldn't dodge. The arrow plunges itself into Neji and Kimimaro watches the destruction of his arrow caused, and to his shock he saw that Neji was still standing. What the? That was close. If that had been any lower, that would have been fatal. I was barely able to dodge. No doubt about it, he's caught on to the secret of the Byakugan. What's going on? How could I have missed his vital spot by 15 centimeters? Just then Kimimoro's eye widens and he sees Neji's chakra flowing out of Neji in a 10-meter radius. Quote. I see, he must have covered an area with his chakra constantly and with such wide space. No wonder he was able to perceive the arrow's flight and throw it off. But releasing that much chakra is like dying, but if he didn't do it then he wouldn't be able to dodge. It's just as I thought, my arrow was totally invisible to him. He doesn't make any pointless moves. So by doing so he's able to collect a lot of information. And he was able to figure out the weakness to these eyes. Second to Naruto, he's the strongest opponent I've ever fought. He's got 360 degrees of vision, also he's able to completely perceive any attacks within a 50-meter radius, but there was a kunai that he couldn't dodge. Why couldn't he dodge? Because he couldn't see it. Even with his combination of abilities there is a slight blind spot. He is unable to see or react to any kunai that gets into his blind spot. That's why he uses that defensive move to deal with any attack going toward that blind spot, and I was able to analyze and completely catch his move. There is a very small blind spot behind his first thoracic vertebra. Kimimaro watches as Neji stumbles away, pulling kunai out of his back and holding onto the wound in his shoulder. Quote, "It's true that if he moves around, getting a bead on the blind spot could be difficult. But that doesn't work on me." Kimimaro makes his second arrow with a string attached to it. "Juken is useless unless you get close to me, but you have no time to get close to me." Kimimaro draws the bow and prepared to fire. "How will you run? You can move all you want, you will die all the same." Neji runs and hides behind a tree. "Looks like you're low on chakra." Neji starts running again, trying to get out of range. It's useless. Kimimaro fires the arrow again, and this time it flies slightly differently based on how Neji runs in order to avoid the attack. Once the arrow gets within his range it locks onto the blind spot, then plunges down it, but at the last second Neji leaps to the right to dodge slightly, but he was unable to escape it completely, and it ending up knocking off his headband, revealing his forehead where the caged bird seal used to be. A string, of course with the string he can. Neji collapses. Of course it hit a tree, that's why the arrow went, of course. Kimimaro jumps to the side and lands on a different branch to get a lock on Neji. Then this time, I'll add more of a spin to it, so that way this time even if it hits a tree it won't go off course. Kimimaro makes a new arrow with a spin on the tip. Quote, "Then like what I did before, I will use the string containing chakra and control the arrow until it's 50 meters behind him. I'll get a bead on a moving target and then I'll drive the arrow to the blind spot with pinpoint accuracy." Neji struggles to his feet and starts struggling to move. "You still continue to stand. He's strong. He's much stronger than me, and I don't have much chakra left. I can't dodge the next strike. Is this it?" Then Neji remembers when Naruto and he first sparred one another. "It's pointless, you can't beat me," Neji said to Naruto as he dropped into his Juken stance. "I will win no matter what happens." Naruto, what would you do in this situation? That's enough. Neji stumbles forward. "I can't dodge it anyway." He stopped moving. Has he given up? "Still, I'll do this carefully. Percentage of hitting target 120, destructive power, absolute devastation." Kimimaro lets loose the arrow and it flies toward Neji, who struggles to move so the arrow won't hit any vital organs when it makes contact. Gotcha. The arrow continues past Neji and pins him to a tree. This is Juken. Neji grabs the string and channels the last of his chakra into it and sends it back towards Kimimaro. The chakra travels up the string and then destroys several of Kidimaru's internal organs. He's still alive, but that's impossible. That attack should have gotten him. Then Kimimaro remembers what Orochimaru told him about Juken. All things made of chakra don't stand a chance against Juken. Juken, of course, he destroyed several of my internal organs, but I can still move somewhat. Kimimaro cuts the string before Neji can find him, then he falls to the ground and sprawls in the dirt. Mikuru and company were leaping through the woods after Naruto and the squad sent out. Mikuru. Kakashi says, "What is it?" Mikuru asks. Makoto had mentioned, you know, the second reason Orochimaru abducted Sasuke. Yeah, I refrained from saying it in Lady Hokage's office. Because at that moment she would have charged out of the village in a blind rage and would have gotten herself killed, and I got 500 Ryo, saying she'll triple her speed then decrease to double her normal speed to sustain a high speed. Alright, you're on. So what was the reason? If Shikamaru's team fails, Orochimaru will use the immortality jutsu to pump his soul into Sasuke's body and gain eternal life. The next thing either Mikuru or Kakashi knew, Makoto blew past them and was pulling away. That is assuming he hasn't switched bodies already. Mikuru called out to Makoto, who decreased her speed. I win, pay up, Mikuru says, holding his hand out to a Kakashi who begrudgingly placed the money in his hand. Kiba, Shikamaru, and Naruto were leaping thought the trees. Now we're down to the three of us. Kiba says. Don't worry about it, Neji will catch up soon. Naruto responds. What about Choji? Shikamaru asks. My wood clone that I left behind took him back to the leaf for emergency treatment after I healed him with Nakara Path. When did you leave behind a wood clone? Just before Jirobo attacked us the first time. Earth style. Mud dome. Jirobo called out. As the wall of earth rose up and just before the dome closed up, Naruto finished the last hand sign. Wood style. Wood clone. Why did you leave it behind? Shikamaru asks. I thought Choji could use some help, but in the end he won on his own and I took him back to the leaf at top speed. So Choji's safe, that's good to hear. Yeah, and I've lived with Neji all my life, so I know that guy is a total genius. Neji slices the spider string and runs forward. I cannot lose. Even if he's an enemy far stronger than me. Even if my body should fail, I cannot lose. I have a reason I cannot lose. Neji thinks, determined, rushing where he saw Kimimaro fall. I let it drag on too long. I played too hard, I gambled and I lost, but he shouldn't still be able to move after what I did to him. Kimimaro thinks. Just then Neji leaps up in front of the hanging Kimimaro and starts slamming away at his chakra points, then he spins in the air, then Neji knocks him to the ground, sealing off the last of Kimimara's chakra points. Neji finishes his rotating and lands on the ground. I can't produce chakra. Kimimara's curse mark recedes. How? You should have died instantly. How can you be alive? I can't dodge anyway, so I prepared myself to get hit on purpose. And I'm more familiar with my weakness than you are. My Byakugan does have a blind spot, but knowing the direction where your attack was coming from, I could release chakra from that one point and watch for your attack. It's not that difficult to move so that you miss by a few centimeters. I'm seriously hurt, but I won't die instantly. So you got hit on purpose, but you will die anyway, you know that. How can you go so far? You are one of the strongest person I've ever fought, but long ago the strongest person I ever fought once told me, you can do it too because you're a true genius. That's what he told me. I had always been called a genius, so that's why I can't lose. I have to do this for those who believe that I'm a genius who gives into fate. A trash character's fate is to lose right away. That's what you said, right? Kimimaro coughs up blood and struggles to stay alive. Well, look at us now. Fate isn't something anyone gets to decide. Neji struggles to grab his headband. You think so? Well, look at you, you're about to die too. Neji grabs his headband as he remembers what his father told him the day before Hinata was almost kidnapped. Neji, you must live one, you are the one who is most blessed by the Hyuga's talent. Hazashi says as he places his hand on Neji's head. I will not die that easily. You can act strong, but you can't stop the flow. Sasuke has been taken to the sound and he will become Lord Orochimaru's new body. No. There is someone who can find and save Sasuke from the darkness. Ha ha. Sasuke belongs to Lord Orochimaru. Naruto will save Sasuke because he once saved me from that same darkness. Neji coughs up blood. Your final joke. Just then Kimimaro coughs up more blood and he collapses as the light fades from his eyes. Even though I say that, I haven't been pushed this far since Kimimaro. Damn it. Kimimaro closes his eyes and draws his last breath. Neji's life flashes before his eyes and he remembers everything. His hatred of the main branch at the beginning, Hinata's near kidnapping Naruto coming to live with the Hyuga, the Chunin exams, Sarutobi's funeral, Tsunade becoming Hokage, the rescue mission. Everyone. I leave the rest to you. Neji thinks as he falls to near death when he hears Nakara Path. Next thing Neji knows, the light returns to his eyes and he's looking up at Naruto's Rinnegan. Good to see you back among the living, Ni-san. You know Hinata-chan's going to kill you for nearly dying, right? Neji's eyes widen in shock. Naruto. How? I'm a wood clone that boss sent behind to make sure you and Choji were okay and thanked Kami he did, or you might not have made it for someone else to find you. Naruto's clone gains a hard look, then claps his hands together. Animal Path. Summoning Jutsu. Naruto slams his palm on the ground and the three-headed dog appears next to Naruto. What do you need of me, Rikudo-sama? The dog asks. Take Neji ni-san back to the leaf for emergency treatment. Find the woman called Shizune and hurry. Of course Rakuto-sama. The dog bows its head and Naruto hooks Neji around the dog's neck. Hold on tight Neji ni-san. Then the dog leaps off with Neji slung over his back. Naruto looks at Kimimimaru's limp form. What path should you become eh? What do you think Jirobo? Jirobo walks out from the shadows and walks toward Naruto. Kimimaro was a long-range combat kind of guy, and with his sticky spider thread he can utilize weakness in enemies' armor, and he's a great analyzer, so he could be used for towards the back. Jirobo responds. Nakara path then would work. Naruto slams his palms on the ground again, and once more the King of Hell emerges and heals Kimimaro. Then Naruto inserts the rods in his face and over his body. Then he makes a hand sign and Naruto's chakra starts flowing through Kimimaro, and with a gasp Kimimimaru's eyes fly open and he shoots up. How? Am I still alive? Welcome Nakara path, Naruto says. Nakara path? Kimimaro asks. Yes, you are one of my new 6 paths, that is, if you wish to join me in my quest to save the world. Why would I betray Lord Orochimaru? Oh boy, Jirobo, come here would you? Kimimaro suddenly becomes aware of the linked vision. How can I see in multiple directions at once? The Rinnegan provides linked vision between its users. Naruto says. I will ask you again, will you join me in my quest to save the world? Jirobo has already joined me. Jirobo walks over and picks up Kimimaro. Why? He gives us a choice and his goal is an admiral one, and for one like this world, so I became Petra Path, but Naruto-sama still calls me by my name and doesn't see me as a tool. That's something Orochimaru never did. Very well, if Jirobo's in then so am I. Welcome to my team, Kimimaro. Naruto says, holding out a hand for Kimimaro to shake. Thank you Naruto-sama. Please just call me Naruto, I hate formality. Now let's go, we've got a team to back up. Then the 3 of them leap off into the trees. So what is my ability? You can restore life to any of the 6 paths by summoning the King of Hell. He is also useful for interrogation. If someone lies or refuses to answer a question, then he will rip out the tongue of the victim and nothing can stop it. Can you still use my abilities if I fall in battle? Yes, I still have access to all 6 paths as I am the original body. Sakin and Tayuya were leaping through the forest while Tayuya held onto the barrel holding Sasuke. Let's hurry. Right, Tayuya says. Akamaru sniffed the air and barked at Kiba. They're close, only 2 of them left. Kiba says. We've got 3, if this mission goes well then this might finish on one last encounter. Shikamaru responds. No, it's 4 on 2. Akamaru barks in response to Kiba's statement. Right, sorry, my mistake, including we've got 4. Let's use out new technique to finish this quickly. Kiba says and Akamaru barks in response. What about me? I've got the Rinnegan and 2 more paths in backup. 2, I thought it was only 1. I added 1 more to our number after healing Neji Nisan. Which path is the spider guy? Nakara and Jirobo is Petra. Wow, that's bound to piss off Orochimaru to has 2 of his 4 bodyguards working against him. Shikamaru laughs. That's the plan. Now stick to my original plan and this will be fine. Shikamaru says. Right. It's sundown and neither Kimimaro nor Jirobo have caught up with us, they must be having a hard time. Sakin says. It doesn't matter, what matters is Lord Orochimaru. We finished 1/3 of our plan in half a day. We ran into too much interference. Yeah, that's the sucky part, we don't even know if we're going to make it in time. The sun went down. We still haven't caught up with them. No, this is fine. We will keep this distance and continue the pursuit. I guess that makes sense. If we attack in the dark we only have a momentary advantage, and even with my power a direct confrontation wouldn't end well, as his more powerful attacks could accidentally kill Sasuke. Alright, if you both agree then who am I to argue? Kiba asked. A scream of pain echoes through the night as a shot of pain rockets the Orochimaru. Curse you Sarutobi. Orochimaru yells out. Lord Orochimaru. Kabuto says. Sasuke, hasn't Sasuke-kun arrived yet? Then he cries out in agony. We're out of time. He's reached his limit. Kabuto thinks. Lord Orochimaru, we have plenty of bodies available and if you need to you can use mine. It has to be Sasuke-kun. How long do you think I've waited? I'm stating an emergency here, the thirds. Technique. The curse was stronger than we anticipated. Orochimaru's eyes shrink as he remembers how Sarutobi has his arms devoured by the Shinigami. If we don't transfer now, you might lose everything. Is that alright? Lose everything. Orochimaru cries out in pain again. I have the best people prepared, please leave it to me. Kabuto leaves and starts walking though the hall when suddenly his body seizes up and he drops to his knees. Quote. Damn, even after Lord Orochimaru's experiments and modifications to my body, the phantom pains still incapacitate me. Kabuto gets back up on his feet and continues to the end of the corridor. When he reaches the room he was headed for, he walks onto the balcony above the prisoner room, then making a single hand sign, the barriers holding the test subjects back is released and they all file out one by one until they are all gathered in a crowd and they all look at Kabuto, who has a dark smirk on his face. Everyone listen carefully. The prisoners look at Kabuto, who has Sai's smile on his face. I will allow you out of this prison. Everyone starts mourning and looking at Kabuto. But only the last man standing. Kabuto turns and leaves, and then the sounds of fighting are heard as the inmates tear at one another. Now all that's left is to wake Kimimaro. Kabuto walks into the makeshift hospital room where Kimimaro was laying, all sorts of machines hooked up to him monitoring his vitals. As I thought I wasn't called up again. Kimimaro says in despair. Kabuto-sensei. Am I? You just need to take care of your body, your duties are already over. It's not the Sound Ninja 5, Kimimaro-kun. The curse mark on Kimimaro's chest recedes. Am I? Still. We have already procured your successor. He has the same power as your Earth Seal. He has been given the Heaven Seal and he also has a Kekkei Genkei. I wonder who is stronger. Just then the machines attached to Kimimaro started making rapid beeps as Kimimaro's heart rate accelerates. What's wrong? Don't get overexcited. Kabuto presses a few buttons and a bright green fluid flows into Kimimaro, slowing down his heart rate. Kabuto-sensei, how much longer will I live? You shouldn't talk anymore. Do you humans have a purpose in life? I've been wondering that recently. Because they are born, do they have an important duty? The meaning is being born for humans to find that answer. It is one freedom Kami gave them. I understand what you are trying to say, and it's true that Lord Orochimaru is suffering. He's never been in such a critical situation, but I'll say it clearly. What can you do now? You've lost your value as a container. A new container is on the way, but it's too late now. Kabuto presses another button and it pulls up a security footage of dead people with one still standing. Said person walks up and Kabuto zooms in on him. Alright, you said you'd let me out, right? The person says, pointing at the security camera. You better keep your promise. What are you doing? Hurry up and open the gate. Kabuto presses a button and the door opens up and the man turns to it, and then Orochimaru walks towards him. What? There was another one. Hurry up. And the man's eyes widen as he sees it's Orochimaru. Suddenly the image of a snake appears behind him and starts to bear down on the man. What's this? Am I going to be devoured by this? I will let you out of her and I will grant you one wish. The man's eyes widen in shock. I was captured for your experiment. I want you to release my clan. Very well, I will grant your wish. Don't worry, your strong will shall remain in my subconsciousness. You won't lose everything. Orochimaru's purple chakra flares. Now then, I will now take your body. Suddenly 3 screens turn red as a cry of pain is heard, then Kabuto turns off the cameras. Now Lord Orochimaru won't be able to transfer to another body for several years, however there will be next time. Kabuto thinks. You're right, my body doesn't have the value of being a container for the transfer technique. Kimimaro says. For someone like me, who lost everything, finding my purpose would be difficult. Kimimaro gets up. I have finally realized that, even if it's not going to be me, I will retrieve the new container even if it costs me my life. That's my thanks to Lord Orochimaru. That's my way for repaying him for my uselessness. The remainder of the Sound Ninja 4 were leaping through the forest when suddenly the barrel that held Sasuke made a thumping noise. Hold up. Tayuya says. Then she and Sakin stop on a rather large branch. Are we almost there? Sakin asks. No, it should take longer. But then they both turn to see Shikamaru, Kiba, and Naruto standing there. What are those morons Jirobo and Kidomaru doing? Naruto takes out a kunai. We've caught up to Bane. Sakin gets up and drops into a battle stance. Fine, fine. How about taking care of this quickly? Sakin says, then he leaps at Naruto and the others. Right away. Fair enough, let's dance. Naruto throws the kunai which Sakin dodges, but Naruto grabs his gunbai and leaps into the air and swings, knocking Sakin out of the way. Then he forms a Rasengan in his hand. The chakra is gathering onto his palm. Naruto uses his gunbai as a base. He jumps towards Sakin, who makes a hand sign. Match punch. Sakin starts throwing his fists at Naruto, but Naruto uses his Rinnegan to track the speed of the punches. He catches one and uses it to flip over Sakin and slam the Rasengan into his back, marking Sakin with the Hirishin formula. Now Kiba. Iron tunneling Fang. Kiba goes rocketing at Tayuya, who prepares to dodge only to be caught in Shikamaru's shadow possession. Shit, I'm dead. Tayuya curses only for Kiba to grab the barrel and then hook his legs onto a branch. Naruto catch. Kiba tosses the barrel to Naruto. Nice work, Kiba. Naruto catches the barrel and then he leaps off with the others. All according to plan. Shikamaru says, smiling. Yeah, but we need to be prepared for a counter-attack. Yeah. Damn those pieces of trash. The curse mark spreads over Sakin's skin. I'm not letting you get away. Sakin leaps after them and Tayuya after him. Orochimaru was sitting in his trophy room getting situated with his new body. Kabuto was looking over at the now empty bed where Kimimaro was lying. Kimimaro was leaping through the woods after Naruto and the others, a determined look on his face. Naruto looks at the barrel in his hands as he feels Dark Sasuke's power growing. Just then he sees Sakin running after them. Damn, that guy is fast. Kiba says. Tell me about it. Naruto growls. Just then Kiba hears a small barking and he looks and sees Akamaru laying the last paper bomb. You idiot. If you're done laying the trap, then get out of here. Arf. Akamaru responds, then he looks at all the paper bombs he set. Seconds later Sakin lands on a branch and the paper bomb that Akamaru laid down starts sparking and Sakin sees it out of the corner of his eye. Oh, phew. Kaboom. The paper bomb explodes, setting of other ones. We got him. Shikamaru says with glee. Nice work, Akamaru. Kiba says. Akamaru runs after Kiba as they continue back to the leaf. Just then Sakin leaps out of the smoke. Don't screw with me. Sakin shouts as he leaps toward the group. Akamaru looks to see his target still there and he slips and falls next to a paper. Akamaru. Kiba calls out, scared for his pack mate. Naruto holds out his hand quickly. Universal pull. Akamaru goes flying towards Naruto. Kiba, catch, he's headed your way. Thanks, Naruto. Just then the paper bomb goes off, which breaks Naruto's concentration and sends Kiba, Akamaru and Sakin tumbling into the ravine below. You little shits. A third voice calls out and Shikamaru and Naruto see Tayuya running towards them. The other one has come. I'll stay, take Sasuke and go. Naruto shouts at Shikamaru. But. Go. Naruto shouts. Just then Tayuya stops dead in her tracks, a look of shock on her face. You. Why are you here? Tayuya says in shock. Just then a figure lands on the barrel holding Sasuke, then he kicks it to the branch behind them. Damn it. Why didn't I sense him coming? He must have been suppressing his chakra. Madara says, that or you were so focused on Kiba and Akamaru's safety that you didn't sense him approach. Hashirama suggests. Kimimaro. Tayuya says. Tayuya, you're too late. Kimimaro responds. Besides, where are the other three? We were the Sound Ninja 5. Why are you? Your body. Your body should be. My body is broken, I'm using my willpower to move it. Damn you. Don't you know when to die? I can understand a little now this conscious feeling of life after being released from the prison of my body. Kimimaro checks the barrel holding Sasuke. This feeling of touching a part of Lord Orochimaru's dream. Okay, I'm so going to Amaterasu this guy. Naruto thinks, don't do it, you could accidentally hit Sasuke. Kurama responds. Ah, you're right. Naruto sighs in defeat. This container is an important dream container. This is the body Lord Orochimaru really wants, but you guys were a little late. Another dangerous guy has come out. Shikamaru thinks in calculation. The feeling that I'm getting from him, he's strong. Anyway, I need to organize my thoughts on this situation. If we act recklessly, Mine. Naruto shouts and he leaps at Kimimaro. Hey wait. Tayuya leaps after Naruto but Naruto thrust his hand out. Almighty push. Tayuya goes flying to Kimimaro who catches her. Tayuya, there is a reason I'm not killing you right now. That is because you must live to carry out a duty you must do right now. My duty is to deliver Sasuke to Lord Orochimaru. Kimimaro says to Tayuya. Didn't you say it's too late? Tayuya asks. I told you. This is the body that Lord Orochimaru really wants. Meaning the next container. Exactly. And this is the only thing I can do for him. The 2 pieces of trash I will leave them for you to handle. Kimimaro leaps off with the barrel in his hands. God damn it. Naruto roars as Kurama's chakra responds to his anger and instantly the first tail springs to life. Naruto, calm down. Shikamaru says, trembling at the sheer amount of chakra Naruto is outputting. Naruto rockets past Tayuya at such high speeds it caused the wind to blast past. What the hell was that? Tayuya thinks, shocked. Well, I guess that figures out who's going after to Sasuke. Shikamaru says, shaking his head. Why do I always have to fight girls? Just think that, you little shit. Tayuya says. Shikamaru jumps towards Tayuya, a kunai in his hand, and Tayuya brings out her flute and blocks the kunai. Shikamaru jumps back and makes a hand sign and his shadow shoots out to capture Tayuya, but she jumps to another branch. Guess you're not falling for the same trick twice. Like hell I will, you little shit. Just remember that jutsu aren't a shinobi's only weapon. Orochimaru was sitting in his chair in his trophy room and Kabuto was making some tea. But that boy, I'm surprised he was able to move with that body. Kabuto, I don't know what kind of order you gave him, but it was a little cruel. Order? No, I don't like forcing people to do things. He went under his own will, for that person worships you. Kabuto, you really have a nasty personality. Lord Orochimaru, Kimimaro was the perfect existence for you. His ideal was the same as yours, died with darkness, and he saw you as a god and fanatically worshipped you. Furthermore, he was from a clan that possessed the most perfect and strongest bodies of all. He even had a Kekkei Genkei, but that was how he was a short while ago. Yes, losing him still frustrates me. I still believe he is the man I wanted from the bottom of my heart. It was his body I desired the most, Kimimaro. And if he had not fallen ill, the Hokage assassination would have gone smoothly. You probably wouldn't have had to go through with this. Looks like I can't have everything go the way I want. It's just a matter of time, Lord Orochimaru. Kimimaro leapt into a clearing when he sensed a dark power charging straight for him. If Tayuya gets back, I'll kill her. Hold it. Naruto's voice roared out and landed in the clearing, the second tail swinging behind him. So this is the power of the 9 tails. Just then Naruto's chakra cloak vanishes and he closes his eyes, then reopens them, his calm demeanor returning. What does Orochimaru want with Sasuke? Naruto asks. Lord Orochimaru has already completed the immortality technique and it takes time to learn every technique in the world. And what does that have to do with Sasuke? Even if the person is immortal, the body rots and decays, but before he rots he replaces it with a stronger and younger body. And that's what Sasuke is to him. Yes. Kimimaro extends one of his bones from his palm. Not happening. Naruto starts weaving hand signs. You idiot. What can a little shit do alone? Besides, if you think about it, by the time you got here you sacrificed one team member from your squad each time in order to allow the rest to move on. Is that boy, Sasuke, so important? How many people are you going to sacrifice for just one? You brainless bastard. You're right, for me this is my first mission as a squad leader. It does worry me that I'm seeing my teammates leave one by one. I don't even know if my decisions were wrong or right. If I was a squad leader responsible for the lives of my squad members, instead of saving one person captured by the enemy, I would have to consider the lives of the squad members and stop this dangerous mission. That would have been the common thing to do. Then why didn't you do that? You can't just do things the way you're supposed to, because I didn't have anyone in my squad who would abandon a comrade and move away from danger. That includes me. Besides, a lazy, cloud-loving guy like me isn't the type to lead a squad and give out orders. The only thing I can do for them is trust them. Listen up, I don't think they sacrificed themselves. I don't think they're dead. Don't underestimate my comrades. Kiba was dashing the side then jumped around Sakin. I got you. Kiba thinks in triumph and he throws a kick only for Sakin to block it and strike him away. Kiba sees the second head open its eyes and look at him. The fuck? Kimimaro was forced to dodge another roaring fireball that Naruto shot at him. This is getting dangerous. Those fireballs vary in both size and speed, but he didn't lay any traps, I know that for a fact. Kimimaro thinks. You should really stop that. All you're doing is wasting chakra, and for a shinobi that's dangerous. Oh, don't you worry about me. Naruto says as he makes more hand signs. Fire style. Dragon flame caterwall. Naruto takes a deep breath before expelling his chakra in the form of a number of dragon head-shaped fireballs. Naruto then skillfully manipulates the great fire, and attacks Kimimaro with it. Kimimaro's eyes widen in shock as 26 huge fireballs roar at him. Kimimaro slams his hands on the ground. Bone wall. Just then Kimimaro's bones rocket form beneath the earth and form an interlocking wall that shields Kimimaro from some of the fireballs. Impressive. That was one of my more powerful jutsu. Looks like you end up as a very interesting tango partner. What is this kid talking about? Kimimaro looks at Naruto confused. Naruto jumps over the wall forming hand signs. Wood style. Deep forest emergence. Naruto calls out and the trees spring up and Kimimaro starts jumping and swerving to the sides to avoid the naivety of trees. Kiba shook his head as Akamaru ran over his fur red. Listen Akamaru, we're going to attack from both sides with fang over fang at once. Arf. Akamaru says as he transform into Kiba, and then the both run in opposite directions and they both spin and rocket at Sakin. Fang over fang. Kiba roars out and they both collide with Sakin in a cloud of smoke. Just then the dust clears and two upper torsos of Sakin were holding both Kibas at bay. Just then the left Sakin punches the Kiba he's holding back, and when Kiba collides with the rock in a cloud of smoke, Kiba transforms into Akamaru. Akamaru. Kiba cries out in concern. So you're the real one. Sakin says, then he turns and swings his fists. Match punch. Kiba goes flying into the rock behind him. In a burst of speed Sakin appears in front of Kiba throwing another punch, but Kiba dodges only to be grabbed by the throat and Sakin's curse mark spreads over his skin. Iron skin. What the? Sakin cries out in shock. Surprised, this is my true Kekkei Genkai. Kiba kicks Sakin in the balls and Sakin drops to the ground. Ow. Sakin cries out in pain. Iron tunneling fang. Kiba goes to drill right through the center of them only for Sakin to dodge. Nice try. Match kick. Kiba gets launched back into Akamaru, who both collide into a rock. That was like. Taking 3 kicks hurts, huh? Next will be. Just then a hand rises up and covers Sakin's mouth. We don't have any time to waste, Sakin. The second head says. Finish this quickly. Got to stage 2. The first head transforms into a red-faced horned devil. Fine, fine. Sakin responds and he too transforms into the monster shape. Big brother is too hasty. Arf, arf. Akamaru says. I see those horns are not just for show. Kiba says, arf. When that guy on the right came out his chakra increased tenfold. We're already in a desperate situation, damn it. What's your preference, big brother? Sakin asks him. I prefer in pieces. Kimimaro was sporting cuts all over his body and he was bleeding heavily. You're quite skilled, Naruto says. To survive my deep forest emergence and dragon flame caterwall. Tell me what your name is. Kimimaro Kagaya, last of my clan. Kimimaro responds. Oh, I've heard of that clan, they were around even in my day, fierce warriors capable of using their bones as weapons, and their bone structure is much more dense than normal. Madara says, remembering his glory days. So his bone structure will be harder to break than normal. Than any ideas? Naruto asks. Well, there is one idea I've been contemplating for a while. It's a version of Almighty Push, but instead you focus all your power into your right eye. You create a wall of invisible force that it might be able to push the tailed beasts themselves. Madara says. What's it called? Rinbo Hengoku or Wheel Treasure Border Jail. A very powerful technique, but even with your ocular prowess it might be impossible to escape retina damage. Sounds like fun. Naruto starts channeling his chakra into his right eye and blood starts to leak from it like it would if Naruto had the regular Mangekyo Sharingan. Rinbo Hengoku, the huge wall of force slams into Kimimaro, blasting him into a tree and shattering several of Kimimaro's bones. Akamaru walked over to Kiba. Arf, arf. Akamaru says. No way, we can't do that. If we do that here with no backup and we miss, it's all over. Kiba says. Akamaru doesn't respond but simply bites Kiba's hand. Akamaru. Sakin and Ukin charge Kiba and Akamaru jumps in front of his master. Being bitten by you. I must be a pathetic owner. Kiba thinks as he watches Akamaru. Okay Akamaru, I'll do as you say. We must do that. Double Wolf Fang. Sakin and Ukin dodge Akamaru and they punch at Kiba, who blocks only for Ukin to slam Kiba in the gut. Kiba grabs Sakin's hand. Now Akamaru. What? Ukin asks. Get him good Akamaru, show him what we've been training for. Akamaru jumps in the air. Dynamic marking. Akamaru spins and pisses in Sakin's eye, marking them with the scent. Ah! Ukin cries out. Damn your dirty tricks. Sakin roars. Now everything is set. Kiba leaps of the rock and Akamaru lands on his back. Inuzuka style. Man-beast transformation combo, two-headed wolf. The Akamaru head starts drooling and Sakin laughs. All that to see it drool. Sakin mocks. What can it do? Ukin asks. Kiba doesn't respond and he leaps into the air and starts spinning. Take this. Kiba roars and they start rocketing toward Sakin and Ukin, but they leap out of the way, but the wind shockwave cause a cut to appear on their left leg. Then Sakin and Ukin land in the drool only to get stuck. The drool. Sakin says shocked. Sakin, what are you doing? Right side. Ukin yells, oh shit. Sakin says as they both see Kiba and Akamaru go rocketing toward them. Then Kiba and Akamaru collide with them. Double Wolf Fang. Kiba roars and after 2 seconds Sakin and Ukin are split in half. How that Double Wolf Fang's rotation speed is so fast we lose our field of vision, it's a super spin. Even if I don't hit directly it still cuts the enemy, if you get hit directly you're cut to pieces. Just then Sakin's right side and Ukin's left side form metallic limbs to form 2 new people. You got so confident. Ukin says sneering, perfect. We were just thinking about separating to fight you. Sakin says clutching his arm. What? They separated into 2. True, if we had taken a direct hit from that it would have been very bad. Ukin says. The real fight starts now. Kiba steps back as his chakra drops. Damn it. Kiba thinks. Arf, arf. Akamaru says. Yeah I know Akamaru, we've only got one more shot with Double Wolf Fang and that's it. Kiba and Akamaru start spinning again. Double Wolf Fang. Sakin and Ukin jump behind rocks to hide. It's no use hiding, I told you we can't see, and so we're not chasing you with our eyes. We're using your scent after you were marked in order to attack. Kiba redirects his attack and rockets back towards Sakin and Ukin, who bite their thumbs and slam their palms on the ground. Summoning Jutsu. Rashomon. Kiba goes spinning toward the gate, but of course since he couldn't see it he slammed right into it, causing a huge dent in the gate, but the Rashomon stood strong. Kiba and Akamaru fall towards the ground. That was incredible attack strength. This is the ultimate defense made to protect Orochimaru, and they were able to put a big dent into Rashomon. Sakin thinks while internally feeling lightly impressed. But Ukin thinks, then he and Sakin leap into the air and Rashomon vanishes in a poof of smoke. Sakin and Ukin go to deliver the final blow only for Akamaru's head to open its eyes and piss in Ukin's eyes, and then Akamaru and Kiba return to their normal forms. Ah, my eyes. Ukin punches Akamaru and sends him flying. Akamaru. Kiba roars in concern. Akamaru. You covered me. Damn it. You did it again. My eyes. Damn it. Damn it, this isn't normal piss, it's a strong acid that's burning my eyes. Wait, where's the other one? Yo, who are you looking for? I'll do the rest, go wash your eyes out in the river over there. Ukin says thank. Kiba throws a punch at Kiba only for Sakin to grab the punch. Having a good sense of smell and sharp claws won't be enough to defeat me. Not against my ability anyhow. You do know that the passage that runs chakra is heavily concentrated around your organs, right? These passages are interconnected, and surround the tissues that create the organs, the cells that make up the tissues, even the protein, which is the main ingredients of the cells. During my stage 2, I'm able to freely disassemble and reconstruct these cells with my chakra. Simply put, I can smash my body into pieces and then get inside an enemy's body. Then I am able to reconstruct everything back to the way it was and get outside. Akamaru. I'm sorry, Akamaru, we were always together in everything we've done. Kiba remembers the Chunin exams as Akamaru helped him to cheat on written test, the Forest of Death, his fight with Naruto, breaking out of the Earth Dome. But this time it seems like it's all over. My cells can freely swim inside your body and are able to make a portion of your cells just for you. In other words, we're fused together basically, we're in the same body. Same body you say? That's right, and the most cruel kill method that only I can do, is to tear away at you from the cells in your body. I see. Kiba pulls out a kunai. Then, Kiba stabs himself with the kunai and both he and Ukin cough up blood. If I do this, I wonder what will happen. Kiba digs the kunai in farther. Suicide. Impossible. Let's die together. Kiba pulls out the kunai and prepares to stab again. You bastard, what do you think you're doing? Just as I thought, our bodies are combined, aren't they? Shit. To enter into another person's body where I'm not vulnerable to attack. That was the biggest merit of my ultimate jutsu. Up until now no one else has done this. Are you suffering? Well then let's settle this. You fool, stop with the stabbing. It's too late. Kiba plunges his kunai in for the kill. Ukin separates from Kiba's body but still gets wounded quite deeply. Kiba grunts out in agony. I'm losing a lot of blood. Kiba pulls out the kunai and struggles to throw it at Ukin, who barely is able to block it with his metal arm. Just then 2 smoke bombs roll towards him and explode, clouding Kiba from Ukin's vision. Then Ukin bursts through the smoke only to see that Kiba is gone, but out of the corner of his eye he sees Akamaru still lying on the ground. Quote, so he left his puppy, a wise decision, but he's more cold-hearted than me. Just then Akamaru starts smoking. What? Don't tell me. Then Akamaru blows up in a flurry of kunai rocket in all directions, slicing Ukin up. Kiba was rubbing Akamaru and felt his breathing. Thank goodness he's still breathing. Akamaru, you've done really well today. Because of you I was able to delay the enemy and ended up with no really serious damage. That's enough, you've done more than enough. Kiba remembers back to the day when he first got Akamaru. We've always been together and we'll always be together from now on. Now all that's left is to protect you. Ukin was really cut up and bleeding heavily. Damn that brat, how dare he set a trap. Ukin thinks in rage and pain. I will kill him. Hey Sakin, where are you? Sakin was washing out his eyes from the wolf's piss. Sakin, Sakin, Sakin. You're too noisy, brother. Your yelling hurts my ears. Sakin says. Then he sees that Ukin had revered to his stage 1 brother. I would kill him, wherever he is, but it's time for me to sleep. Ukin merges with his brother again. Capture those bastards alive and when I wake up, I will deal with them. Listen, make sure you get them alive, Sakin. Yeah, I get it, but the 2 of us are going to get them together. Naruto was pounding away at Kimimaro, who could only dodge every other 12th strike, and each time it was never the same, but in the end Naruto got frustrated and slashed with his gunbai and scythe. Then his Susanoo emerged and sliced at Kimimaro. Then the skeletal hand crushed Kimimaro and Naruto exhaled a huge blast of fire, blasting Kimimaro back. Suddenly the barrel that was holding Sasuke started smoking. It's almost time, just a little while longer and Sasuke will be on his way to Lord Orochimaru. Kimimaro thinks as he struggles to get to his feet. Don't bother. Naruto activates his right eye and it switches to his Mangekyo. You take one more step and you will burn to death. I'm the master of the 5 dances, allow me to show them to you. Kimimaro gets back up and a bone emerges from his shoulder. Just then the black flames spring to life around the and Kimimaro roars out in pain, but thinking quickly he has his Kekkei Genkai to jettison the burning bone at Naruto, but Naruto blocks it with Susanoo. I thought I warned you not to move. Oh well. Naruto rushes forward and grabs Kimimaro with his Susanoo. All your bone Kekkei Genkai techniques don't really work if you can't move or think because of pain. Naruto crushes Kimimaro, severing his spine from the waist down. Fuck. This is going to take some time to eject, and this boy's analytical skills are second to none. He knows the exact weakness of my Kekkei Genkai, but my clan's records and weaknesses died with them. How can he know? Just who is this kid? Kimimaro thinks, "You little shit stain, I'll finish this in a flash." Yuya says to a chuckling Shikamaru. "What the hell is so funny? Do you know of the leaf's yellow's flash? Yeah, why? That blonde that was here knows the same jutsu that he does, and frankly compliments of a past event. You don't have what it takes to beat me in flash. So what, I still have a few tricks up my sleeves, and you apparently talk too much," Yuya says as she runs through the hand signs. Summoning jutsu, as the jutsu is recited, 3 creatures appear behind her. And just when things were going good. There is a reason why no one who's heard the melody you're about to hear survived. Just then the 3 doki charge Shikamaru and he spends several minutes dodging the attacks, as that reason become very clear when she started playing a piece she called Demon Revolution. "I've got to learn more about these movements or I'm as good as dead," Shikamaru thinks as he continues to dodge. Shikamaru had learned more about the doki she summoned and eventually was able to get close to her with 9 moves by simple capturing Yuya's doki summons and using them against her. Shikamaru got to experience a second stage curse mark when Yuya had powered up. It was a struggle for him to hold her with the shadow possession and strangle jutsu. And from that point on it was a struggle to maintain. "Come on Shikamaru, you have her right where you want her and yet you can't seal the deal." Blast it all, I wonder if I hadn't had some of my energy siphoned from that doki thing that bit me, I could seal the deal. Sooner or later cockhead, something's got to give. As much as I hate to admit it, she's right. If I let go I'm dead. If my chakra runs down and my jutsu lets go I'm still dead. As Shikamaru's jutsu lets go, and just when Shikamaru was seconds away from resigning himself to death, a blast of wind seemingly out nowhere nails Yuya and she lands on a tree away from them. Shikamaru opens his eyes to find his rescuer to be Temari. After Yuya tried her jutsu and tried her genjutsu, but thanks to Temari's wind style it was rendered useless. Was the wind not only blasted away the sound waves, it also hurt her and damaged the flute. So how was that? Temari smiles as the completely destroyed trees sat behind her. "Man, she's scary, just like me to fall for a woman like this, but if she wasn't so scary I don't think I would have won this fight." Shikamaru thinks, sweat dropping at Temari's actions. Naruto and 2 of his new paths were leaping though the forest, and Naruto looks to see a huge destroyed forest. "Whoa, this was some wind-style jutsu," Kidomaru says, whistling at the destruction. Then Naruto, Kidomaru and Jirobo see Temari and Shikamaru standing. "Hey Naruto." Shikamaru waves. "Hey Shikamaru, where was that redhead you were fighting?" Naruto asks. "Plan to make her a path too, huh?" "Yep, any idea where she went?" "She's under here Naruto," Jirobo says as he picks up Yuya's body. "Thank you Jirobo. Kidomaru, I'll show you this once, then you need to memorize it as this is your path in action." "Right," Kidomaru says as Naruto inserts the rods, then he makes a few hand signs. Nakara path. The king of hell emerges and swallows Yuya, who then walks out gasping for air. "What the hell was that?" Yuya yells. "Welcome to the circle of the 6 paths, as you should so choose to join us." "Why would I join a dickless fuck like you? A lady shouldn't talk like that," Jirobo says. "Shut up, fat ass. Enough." Naruto roars out, unleashing a huge amount of chakra, silencing them. "Now you have been given a new opportunity at life and you can deny it, but you will die if you do. The choice is yours. What are the benefits? You will experience enhanced powers and you will be able to achieve some of the power of the Sage of the 6 Paths. What else? You won't die here today and Orochimaru will never control your life again. What's the catch? All I ask in return is your help in fighting the Akatsuki and bring peace to this world. It's a good deal to you, no strings attached to it. Besides, Orochimaru doesn't care about us. Kidomaru says. Fine, but you better not take advantage of this. To Yuya, was it? I have no idea what you're talking about, but I assure you if you treat me with respect I will do the same for you. Oh. Yuya looks to the side and blushes slightly as she had made a fool of herself. Kiba was rubbing some ground leaves onto his and Akamaru's wounds. Just then he smells 2 people approaching his location. What does this mean? Kiba grabs the branch and he leaps into the river he and Akamaru had used to escape Sakin and Ukin. Naruto jump and slashed attacking Kimimaro, who desperately blocks using his bones, desperately trying to defend against Naruto's brutal onslaught. Just then the barrel holding Sasuke exploded and Dark Sasuke's power roared out, easily rivaling the One Tail in pure power. Then Sasuke leaps without a word towards the Valley of the End. Sasuke. Naruto runs after Sasuke only to have Kimimaro appear behind Naruto with a swing of a new bone sword. Die. Almighty. Leaf Hurricane. A voice interrupted and suddenly a green blur slams into Kimimaro. Kimimaro goes flying through the air and lands on his feet and slides through the grass. Who are you? Kimimaro asks. It is I, the Leaf Village's handsome devil, Rock Lee. Lee. Naruto says, shocked. How's your body doing? Much better, thank you, Naruto-kun, but we have not time for pleasantries. Hurry up and go after Sasuke-kun. Careful, Lee, this guy's no joke, he uses his bones to attack. Alright, just hurry up and go. Right. Naruto runs off, but Kimimaro disappears and then reappears in front of Naruto. I don't think so. Kimimaro swings his bone sword at Naruto. Die. But Lee appears and grabs the bone sword. I dislike being ignored. Naruto continues to run off. Good luck. Lee. Naruto thinks as he continues after Sasuke. Lee delivers a strong axe kick to Kimimaro's shoulder, which dislocates it severely. Kimimaro forces it back into place with pure muscle. Leaf Hurricane. Lee spins to use the attack, but Kimimaro jumps up, and when Lee jumps up to finish the attack, Kimimaro dodges again, and this time Lee throws another spinning kick, then throws another axe kick only for Kimimaro to dodge. Quote. He is very skilled. I can't land a single kick. Lee gets back up. You are very flexible, aren't you? And you also move very precisely. You are also very skilled, but you're too straightforward. Lee charges in with punch, but Kimimaro dodges with a side step, then he swings his bone blade, but Lee dodges to the side, but Kimimaro cuts off his left two fingers. When the suddenly regenerate, Lee makes a fist and then charges back in at Kimimaro, throwing a barrage of attacks. What the hell is going on? I was sure I cut off fingers, but they regenerated. What kind of monster is he? Excellent, my regeneration factor is responding quite well. I must remember to thank Naruto for this later. Lee thinks. If I open the gates I might be able to win, but I still haven't tested that part of my regeneration factor yet. Just then Kimimaro charges and Lee responds with several high-speed punches and kicks, but Kimimaro dodges several of them, but a few land, sending Kimimaro flying back. Okay, what is going on? This boy is very skilled. And that regeneration factor, where on earth did he get it? Oh, to hell with this, I have to use the curse mark, perhaps then I will be able to crush him. Kimimaro channels his chakra into the curse mark on his chest, and it starts to spread over his body and holds his arm out, and his arm bones shoot out and cover his arms. Caution to the winds, then if this person can use his bones as weapons, then I will need to attack with all my might. Lee gathers his chakra. Let's take this nice and slow and go with the first gate. Kiba was resting against a tree, water dripping off of him in a puddle. Well, I guess this is the end. His scent is getting closer and closer, and I can't move because of this wound. Kiba thinks in despair. Suddenly Sakin's scent disappears and Kiba sighs in relief. I'm safe. Oh really? A new voice says right in front of him. Kiba's eyes widen in shock and he sees Ukin standing right in front of him. It's true, then you've gotten so used to your own scent. That's my jacket, you used it to hide your scent from me. Kiba says. Now that you've separated again, it's going to be tough, damn it. Ukin takes out a kunai and makes his move to stab Kiba in the head, when suddenly the kunai connects with a puppet. What the hell? Yo. A new voice says and Kiba laughs. Looks like you're our allies this time. Who the hell are you? Ukin asks. I'm an ally of Konoha, a shinobi of the sand, Kankuro the puppet master. Kankuro says as Crow stands before Kiba. Kankuro looks at Kiba. Man, you look like you've gone through hell. Certainly feels like it. Kiba jokes. You just rest and let me take it from here. Just then Sakin launches himself toward Kankuro. Look out. Kiba yells, but Sakin was too fast and he grabs onto Kankuro. Look out, he can merge with your body. Too late. Sakin says, and he tightens his grip on Kankuro's face, only for cracks to start to appear, and Kankuro smiles and he grabs onto Sakin's arm. What's wrong, Sakin? Kankuro's face starts falling off, revealing the face of a puppet. Looks like your technique doesn't work on puppets. Kankuro's voice comes from the bundle on the puppet's back. This one's a puppet too. Saken thinks shocked. A word of warning, we Sand Shinobi aren't as easygoing as the Konoha ninja, but getting close to Ant so carelessly is a bad idea. Ant sprout blades from his arms and with a twitch of Kankuro's fingers and swings his arms and pierces Saken in several places, causing several deep cuts. As enemies these guys are scary, but as allies they can't be more reliable. Kiba thinks Kankuro twitches his fingers and sends Ant flying at Ukin, who runs away from his current position, and the curse mark fades from Saken and then reappears on Ukin as he runs over to his brother's fallen form, and the armor spreads onto his arm and leg, shredding Kiba's jacket. It hurts, I underestimated them, let me rest in this body. Saken whines. You're pathetic. Ukin growls, what's with these guys? Kankuro asks, that's their ability. Kiba responds. I can't believe I am losing to puppets. Ukin growls as the curse mark recedes from Ukin's body, then he looks at Ant. He isn't particularly strong or fast, you can't beat me with toys like that. Kankuro gets a stern look and Ukin pats the place where his wound was. My wound has already started to heal. Ukin laughs. I don't have that much chakra left, but it should be more than enough to crush that enemy. It does look like he's been healed. Man, what an insane healing factor. Kiba thinks. Just then Ukin sneers and moves his leg, trying to rid his body of its stiffness. I am not usually the one on top, so I'm having trouble moving. He's underestimating me. Kankuro glares. He's not an enemy you can easily defeat. Back down for now. I can't retreat after he's underestimated me like that. Kankuro starts a dance with his fingers and Crow goes flying in, but Ukin leaps out of the way, but Kankuro turns Crow's head and Crow fires a few kunai at Ukin. Don't underestimate me, Ukin says as he dodges the kunai with ease. Then Kankuro detaches one of Crow's hands and it opens up and fires poison-dipped Senbon, which Ukin flips back to avoid the attack. But just then Ant lands behind Ukin and opens up his chest compartment, and Ukin flips right back into it, and then compartment closes up. Ant isn't an offensive target, he's meant to capture his targets and is used for attacking with Crow. Hey, let me out of here. Ukin starts pounding on the inside of Ant in a vain effort to break free, but Ant's belly holds strong. Crow goes flying in at Ant and Ant sits down, compressing Ukin. Then Crow detaches all its limbs and the sprout blades. Eat this. Secret puppet performance. Iron Maiden. And then all the bladed limbs go flying into slots in Ant's body, piercing Ukin in all his vital organs at once, and with a final scream Ukin is no more. Blood starts pouring from Ant. This is the end. Just then Naruto and his other paths land next to them. Naruto. Kiba says, surprised. You look worse for wear's anything life-threatening? Naruto asks at Kiba's disheveled appearance. No, but my chakra is completely drained and Akamaru's badly hurt. I think a couple of his internal organs are badly bruised. Kidomaru, if you would. Yes, Rikudo-sama. Kidomaru snickers at Naruto expression. How many times do I have to tell you my name is Naruto? I know, I'm just messing with you. Kidomaru laughs again and the other join in at Naruto's expense. I swear to Kami-sama you are all paying for that. Naruto grumbles as Kidomaru heals Akamaru and Kiba using his path abilities. Then Naruto looks over at the puppet still oozing blood. Is Saken in there? Tayuya asks. Yeah, he is. Kankuro responds. Well, take him out, I'm going to make him one of my paths. Well, if he agrees to that is. Alright, but it isn't pretty. Kankuro unlatches Ant and reveals a dead and bleeding Saken and Ukin. Kidomaru. Right. Kidomaru pulls out Saken and Ukin and then Naruto slams his hands on the ground. Summoning Jutsu. Geto statue. The Jubi's body appears once more and Naruto takes out a large section of black rods and inserts them into Saken and Ukin. Then he looks at Kidomaru, who nods and activates his path power, summoning up the King of Hell, which, at Kidomaru's command, grabs Saken and Ukin and devours them, then spits them back out fully healed. Naruto makes a few hand signs and starts channeling his chakra into Saken, who starts glowing with the chakra, then gasps as life returns to his body. Welcome back, Saken. Kidomaru says. Kidomaru, Tayuya, Jirobo, what the hell is going on? Home come, I can see myself from 4 different angles. Saken says, shocked. Yeah, and how come I can see what Saken sees? Ukin asks. That is the power of the Rinnegan. I offer you a new chance at life should you choose to accept it. You will learn the true power of the Sage of the Six Paths. Naruto says. If we accept your offer, what do we get in exchange? You will have the ability to create mechanized armor and weapons. Cool. So you agree? Naruto raises an eye. Yeah, why not? It sounds like fun. Sakin and Ukin shrug their shoulders. Okay, that was easy. Naruto shrugs, then they leap off towards where the real Naruto was. Lee was breathing heavily and was sporting several tears in his jumpsuit while Kimimaro had several bones protruding from his skin. You are fast, but your style of fighting is too direct and easily countered. I will never give up. Lee roars and he charges. Kimimaro blocks several of his attacks, then Kimimaro shots a bone from his palm and prepares to impale Lee when suddenly a swirl of sand intercepts the attack, then explodes outward, separating Lee and Kimimaro. Kimimaro lands on his feet, but Lee lands on a pile of sand. Oh, and who are you? I am Gaara of the desert, and now I am your opponent. Gaara says. Gaara, Lee says, shocked. Your recovery abilities seem much stronger than last time, but you seem more worn out than he is. Gaara looks at Kimimaro. I recently recovered from surgery and I don't know how much strain my body can handle yet. But why are you here? I owe Konoha a huge debt. Gaara thinks of Naruto, who set him down the right path. Gaara, so that is what you are called. Kimimaro says, then he points his fingers at Gaara. Digital shrapnel. Then the bones from Kimimaro's fingers launch towards Gaara, but the sand raises you and defends him from the attack. You are too hasty, Gaara says. Just then Lee gets into a battle stance and prepares to charge. I will fight him. No, you simply need to watch my back and back me up. Lee responds, then he runs forward, but then some sand grabs his leg and he trips and then falls on his face, but a small cloud of sand shoots underneath him. I got sand in my mouth, Lee says in a muffled voice, then he turns around and looks at Gaara. Please let go. Just then Lee flinches in pain. You can't do anything in your current condition, so I will fight him. Please be careful, he can use his bones as weapons and is freely able to manipulate them. Gaara of the desert, Kimimaro says as Gaara walks forward. Like your name suggests, you can use sand, huh? Kimimaro watches as a small tornado of sand rises out of Gaara's gourd. Kimimaro's bones retract into his skin as he calculates how to approach Gaara in combat. Quote, a hard defensive barrier created using sand. He isn't a close-range fighter. Getting close to him would be difficult. Kimimaro raises his hands again and prepares to fire his knuckle bones again, however Gaara notices this and his sand rockets forward to attack, but Kimimaro dodges by jumping in the air and he fires another volley of bone bullets. Gaara's sand once again raises and defends Gaara, but still attacks simultaneously, and Kimimaro dodges again as another volley of sand attacks him, and Kimimaro fires of another round for it once again to block, and he dodges again as the sand tries to capture and crush him, but the sand attacks relentlessly in an effort to attack Kimimaro. He doesn't waste any movements. He is a very skilled taijutsu user. He uses sand to attack and defend simultaneously. He's capable of attacking or defending using the sand, however the amount he can control at one time is most likely limited to the sand he carries in that gourd. Kimimaro lands and looks at Gaara. Gaara of the desert, such a foolish nickname. Without sand you can't do anything. Gaara doesn't respond, but the sand simply rockets forward again and Kimimaro dodges the flurry of attacks. Going through the trouble to carry around that heavy sand in there all the time is proof. Kimimaro lands and Gaara sends a stream of sand into the sky. Sand shower. Gaara says, and a cloud of sand forms and sand starts falling from it like rain. How dull. Kimimaro says, bored, and prepares to dodge only to be rooted in place. As long as I have sand I can do anything, you are the fool. I have no difficulty in producing sand from the ground. I see the stream of sand he sent into the ground was to grind up minerals from the earth to make more sand. Lee thinks as the sand swirls around Kimimaro. Gaara of the desert, his nickname really isn't for show. The sand stops swirling and Lee looks at Gaara with delight. You did it. Not yet. Gaara responds and makes a fist with his hand. Sand funeral, then the sand condensed to crush Kimimaro. He has the same eyes. What? Lee asks. The same eyes as Sasuke Uchiha. Eyes yearning to prove their existence. Kimimaro remembers his time of incarceration before his clan was killed off after attacking the Hidden Mist village. Yes, fighting, not the only thing that I can do. Now, Kimimaro thinks and his curse mark spreads over his skin. Then he struggles his way out of Gaara's sand, chunks of his flesh torn away revealing the dense bone structure beneath. No way, Lee says. Such intense pressure, if I hadn't layered my bones right underneath the skin I would have been crushed instantly. Bones. He's also a monster. Gaara says. That's a troublesome body. I underestimated you, but I will not be caught by your sand again. Gaara doesn't respond but starts making hand signs and a huge wave of sand forms at Gaara's feet and spreads outward, growing in height as well. Sand tsunami. Gaara calls out and the enormous wave of sand rockets towards Kimimaro, who tries in effort to not be caught by the sand only for it to completely overwhelm him. Incredible. This isn't even a lever where you can say you'll run from the sand or that it won't catch you. Lee thinks as he watches Kimimaro drown in sand. He's even changed the terrain. Lee watches the sand drown the trees as well. You did it. No. Not yet. Gaara lams his palms on the ground. Giant sand funeral. What an amazing person, he's even stronger than before. Lee thinks in awe. Surely this time. He is persistent. What? Kimimaro remembers how his clan was slaughtered and how he first met Orochimaru. I'm still alive, that means I still have a purpose. Kimimaro thinks, then he remembers Naruto and how he fought with such purpose. At that time, Orochimaru-sama said something like that, but there is a reason why people are born, that's what I think. There must be some important mission for them to accomplish. The earth curse mark spread over his entire body and he enters his second state. There is a mission for me as well, and that is to protect Orochimaru-sama and his ambitions. Kimimaro burst out of the sand and appears in his second curse mark state. Gaara makes a typhoon motion and spins the sand around Kimimaro. Sand burial. Gaara calls out and the sand squishes Kimimaro again only for him to burst out of the sand again. Then Kimimaro charges at Gaara and Lee. That form, Lee says in shock. Kimimaro dashes towards Gaara and Lee at full speed. Gaara makes crushing hand signs to capture Kimimaro in sand, but he keeps dodging. Eventually, as Kimimaro gets closer, Gaara slams his palm on the ground and sand springs up, forming a wall between him and Kimimaro. Kimimaro dives right into the sand and when he resurfaces he slams into Gaara, who goes flying. Is that the limit of your so-called ultimate defense? I'm not impressed. Just then Kimimaro sees Gaara's face falling off. I see you coated yourself in sand from the beginning. Just then Lee appears right behind Kimimaro. Do not forget I am your opponent as well. Lee says as he throws a kick which Kimimaro blocks, then he dodges the second strike and swings his tail at Lee, but Gaara notices this and commands the sand to rise up and defend Lee, which is does, but the defense isn't fast enough and Lee still gets injured. If I hadn't been protected by the sand, that hit would have done some serious damage. In this state I'm only getting in the way. This sand is a hindrance, I shall deal with you first, Gaara. Kimimaro says as he reaches for his spinal cord then rips it out. He ripped out his spinal cord. Dance of the Clematis. Kimimaro swings his spine and it prepares to wrap around Gaara, but once again the sand rises up to protect him. Quote. Flower. Just then a drill of bone encased Kimimaro's left arm. This is the thickest bone in my body, it will pierce through you and your sand defenses. Just then Kimimaro coughs up blood. My body won't last much longer. Just then a bunch of sand rise up. Ultimate defense, Shukaku shield. Gaara cries out and the sand forms the visage of Shukaku. After a few seconds pause, Kimimaro walks back, then rams the bone spear into the Shukaku shield and it begins to drill through it. I fought him once before, which is why I know. His sand shield is his ultimate defense and it might look strange, but it's alright, there is no way he can be defeated. Lee thinks as he observes the battle before him. The drill continues to burrow through when suddenly cracks start forming on the spear and then it shatters like a potter's vessel. That's strong. I collected the strongest minerals from underground and with chakra pressurized them into a dense sand around me. That's special jutsu. It's a Kekkei Genkei, isn't it? It belongs to the Kagaya clan, but now it belongs to me and me alone. So you are the last of you clan, then you clan will be finished off here and now. That may happen because of the illness, my body won't last much longer, but I won't be destroyed because I'm not alone. Kimimaro remembers when Orochimaru gave him the Earth Curse mark. You're not alone. That's right, as a life that protects Lord Orochimaru's ambitions, I will remain in his heart forever. Is that Orochimaru's brainwashing? You're pathetic. Gaara makes a hand sign and the sand starts to swirl around Kimimaro. I've used up most of my chakra, this will be my last technique. Kimimaro uses his spine to try and escape. What chakra? Lee says, shocked. You're pretty good, Kimimaro says as his body sinks into the sand pit. You'll sink 200 meters underground and be held there with the sand pressure over your body, you'll soon be unable to move even a finger. Gaara responds as the last of Kimimaro disappears beneath the sand. Then when he is gone, the sand stops moving. You did it, Lee says. This time around you really got him. Just then Kimimaro's voice calls out. Dance of the seedling ferns, and suddenly a huge forest of bones erupts from the surface. Gaara used the sand to lift himself and Lee into the air above the erupting bones. You've saved us again, as expected of you, Gaara. To be able to do even this. I only used the sand that naturally swirls around me, the trick is knowing how to use it. Lord Orochimaru, I'm sorry Lord Orochimaru, Kimimaro says as he remembers the planning for the destruction of the Leaf Village and the days before, the assassination of the Cage. Then his lungs finally started to give out and he had to be attached to life support. Failing his master and then Kabuto telling him how a new body had found a new body. Then he remembers Gaara's words about Orochimaru. No, you're wrong. I will find the truth's OFTHIS world with Lord Orochimaru. He was stubborn until the end, but now he won't come back ever again. I see, Lee responds. Suddenly Gaara starts sweating and places his hand on the sand. This is my limit, we're going down. It's not brainwashing, a very familiar voice says from behind them. That person. Lord Orochimaru. He is my only reasoning. Gaara and Lee turn around to see Kimimaro attached to one of his bone trees with his bone drill on his hand. Quote, what the hell would you know about it? Kimimaro thrusts the bone drill at Gaara and Lee squeezes his eyes shut, but the splash of blood he expected never came. Lee opens his eyes and sees Kimimaro has stopped a few inches in front of Gaara. He's dead, Lee said. Gaara then lands both himself and Lee in some trees nearby. We would have been completely defeated, Gaara says after a little bit. That's not true, my sensei always told me that luck is also part of strength. That busybody. He isn't a busybody. That time. That was because of my own weakness, and while I appreciate your help today, please don't insult my sensei. You're the same. If the person you admire is insulted, you become angry if that person is important to you. To fight for that important person, he was the same as Naruto. The person important to you isn't always good. Really, you don't have to take someone bad as your important person. No. Even if you know they were evil, people can't defeat loneliness. Whoa, your personality really has gone 180, hasn't it, Gaara? A new voice says from behind them, and Lee and Gaara turn to see Naruto, and the Sound Ninja 4 standing there. Naruto-kun, what are you doing here? Lee asks in shock. And who are those 4 people behind you? I'm a clone and these 4 behind me are previous servants of Orochimaru, but now they are my paths after I gave them a new chance of life. What happened to the Kage? He's up there. Lee points to where Kimimaro was trapped in his own bone forest. So Kimimaro kicked the bucket, that piece of shit. Tayuya says. A lady shouldn't talk like that. Jirobo scorns. Tayuya is allowed to talk the way she wishes, but please try to control your tongue, Tayuya-san. Naruto says before another argument sprouted up. My apologies, Rikudo-sama. Tayuya bows and smirks at Naruto expression. Moving on. Naruto says with a twitch of his eye, then he switches to his Mangekyo Sharingan and he used his Susanoo to grab Kimimaro and break the bones around him, revealing his entire body. Once more he performed the summoning jutsu for the Geto statue, inserted the rods into Kimimaro, then Kidomaru uses Nikara Path to restore Kimimaro. Kimimaro gasps and looks around. I'm alive, Kimimaro says in shock. Yes, you are Kimimaro and you have been given a new opportunity at life. You have been given the opportunity to help me on my mission to bring peace to this world in exchange for incredible power. Why would I serve you? I am loyal only to Lord Orochimaru. Naruto sighs and then reactivates his Mangekyo Sharingan. Guess we're doing this the hard way. Naruto makes a hand sign and restrains Kimimaro and locks eyes with him. Koto Amatsukami. I am honored that you would chose me on your quest, Rakuto-sama. Kimimaro bows his head to Naruto. Glad to have you aboard, Kimimaro. Naruto smiles. Just then Naruto's head shoots up. I just got an order from boss. I'm going to dispel myself now. The 5 of you are to return to Konoha, and when you see her, tell the 5th Hokage this. We are now serving Naruto as his paths and can't do anything without his permission. We shall defend Konoha with our lives. Get it? Yes, Rakuto-sama. The paths bow to Naruto. Why do I get the feeling that they will never stop calling me that? Cause they aren't. Hashirama says, snickering. I hate this already. I'll get used to it, Rakuto-sama. Madara mocks. Just then the wood clone dispels and everyone leaps off back to the Leaf Village. As Mikaru and his team leap through the trees, Mikaru finds himself revisiting a memory. Sasuke had come in contact with Orochimaru's curse mark. I had sealed up the darkness within him, but I fear the seal I made for it is only a patch on a leaky pipe. Finally can't take the slow pace, he makes a shadow clone and has him Hiraishin to Naruto and give him an help wisdom he may need. Naruto. Mikaru says, surprising Naruto. Uncle, how'd you catch up with you? On the inside of your pouch I planted a Hiraishin marker since you had removed the kunai I gave you. That figures. Now I felt you had something on your mind, so care to share? If I use the gift that Yami-sama gave me and remove the darkness from Sasuke's heart, this will cause the curse mark to manifest itself away from Sasuke, but that thing is most likely a parasite and will try to latch onto its host again, so before it can do that I will need to kill it. Then once I will need a way to separate the consciousness from the body and transfer the chakra to Sasuke, but that part is the hard part because only Sasuke can try to take the power away and there's a risks. While he's trying to pull the chakra away, the curse mark's manifestation will do the same. I see. So what do you think I should do? Seems you know how to use your second special trick from the divine power. What do you mean? You received gifts from all of the primordial 3. Catchy label. Kami says. I'll say. CJ responds. Yami looks on quietly with a smile. You know of one. Mikaru says and Naruto nods, shape-shifting. And the second gift you received was an ability to remove darkness from someone's heart. I know that one, but I've never used it before. Naruto says to a nodding Mikaru. There's no time to show you how, there is however time to explain the ability. Naruto nods. Now pay attention, Naruto, because I'm only going to say this once. Naruto nods with an intently focused stare. Twianla, push and pull, like the moon and ocean has always circled each other in an eternal dance, which has been the nature of things for all time, and that's part 1. Darkness has always preyed on the hearts of people, civilian and shinobi alike, and compels one to give into dark urges. Like rage. Naruto thinks off to an image of Sasuke and Itachi. Makes sense since internally Sasuke wants to eliminate Itachi for killing their family. Avarice, Mikaru continues. Or greed, right, because that bastard Orochimaru will stop at nothing to gain every jutsu in the world, and that's another example. And lastly, and the most potent of all the dark emotions, which is fear. That's it. Don't sound surprised. Through my many ops in Anbu Black's ops I seen fear tear clans, villages, cities and often nations to ruin and death. All because they were scared of something or of an event they don't want to come to pass, or of someone who terrified them, till that person was in their nightmares. Lastly, the way to beat the darkness within someone's heart is draw on some positive emotions and use them to combat the darkness. Okay, so what's next? To beat the negative emotions, you first need to understand that no two darkness are the same, only alike can the darkness in someone's heart can be conquered. As for Dark Sasuke, you've already possessed the stuff required. Since by technicality he is also a part of Sasuke, you know what it feels like to feel pain. Now for the topper, since chakra passes through the brain, you can channel some of the emotions from times you yourself were suffering, and what it took to pull you away from that darkness, and channel it all into an elementless Rasengan. You can blast the darkness out of Sasuke and into a shell curse mark included and go for the kill on it. Sasuke will be free of the curse mark. Mikuru says Hiroshin's away. Thanks uncle. Naruto says as he follows Sasuke's chakra signature, just a statue of Madara and Hashirama. Well, what do you know, doesn't this bring back memories, Madara? Hashirama said. The Valley of the End. Ah, does this bring back memories? Madara says, laughing. Naruto jumps up and lands on Hashirama's head and sees Sasuke standing on Madara's. Sasuke doesn't respond but merely turns around, and to Naruto's shock the curse mark has spread to his face and his left eye has the iris black and the eye has turned yellow. Well Naruto, it's been a while, hasn't it? So you're back, I should have guessed. Naruto glares. Dark Sasuke. Do you really think that I'd stay gone forever? No, not really, but now I have a plan to finish you for good. You're not worth my time. Dark Sasuke turns and leaves when suddenly Naruto appears right in front of him and slams his fist into Sasuke's gut. How? I marked you when I improved the seal. I integrated my Hiroshin formula into the sealing formula, and as such I can warp to you whenever I damn well please. Naruto smiles, then starts weaving the hand signs. Dragon right pointing arrow, bird right pointing arrow, tiger. Yami style. Darkness removal. Naruto slams his palm onto Sasuke's forehead, and then both Dark Sasuke and regular Sasuke cry out in pain as they are separated, and in a flash of dark smoke Sasuke and Dark Sasuke stand next to one another, Sasuke in his regular clothing and Dark Sasuke. What the happened? 1 minute I'm in Konoha, the next minute I'm on top of Madara Uchiha's head at the Valley of the End. Sasuke rubs his head. Well, how do you fancy that you actually managed to separate us? I won't even begin to question how, but I'm sure that I'm going kill both of you and then grant Orochimaru the power I need, then he will gain the Sharingan and Rinnegan, he will be all powerful. Dark Sasuke starts laughing like a maniac. Like hell are we going to let that happen? Roars Naruto and Sasuke to a Dark Sasuke who was laughing manically. Well, if you're so sure of that, prove it. We will, Naruto says back. Naruto, we got to beat this guy. Thought internally I would rather deal with this guy myself since he's me, but I have to swallow my internal pride and ask for your assistance. Bro, I'd be happy to, however we can't kill him. You need to tear his chakra away from him to gain permanent control over his power and never have to worry about him again. Okay then, let's go kick my butt. Sasuke says, pounding his fist into his hand as the two brothers charge the Dark Uchiha counterpart, engaging him in taijutsu. Sasuke found it very difficult to land while Naruto was not only landing his hits, it was clear to Dark Sasuke that Naruto was no cannon fodder. Some Uchiha, having to rely on a comrade to bail him out. I hate to admit it, but he's right. On one field back in the day the Uchiha were warriors first and can stand tall with allies second. If I don't do something when this is over, I don't deserve to call myself an Uchiha, but I might as well get my head back in the fight. After a few minutes, Dark Sasuke with his taijutsu card out of play back flips onto the waterfall and readies Chidori. Sasuke, leave countering Chidori to me. Naruto says as he creates a clone. Naruto quickly creates his wind-style Rasenshuriken. Naruto, can you do almighty push with that jutsu in your hand? I haven't tried yet. What did you have in mind? Naruto says to the sight of Sasuke making a couple circles with his connected fists and made an air sphere in his hand. The sign language for hammer throw. Oh, I get it, he says as he whispered the clone to attach himself to him as he prepared to launch almighty push. I best not overdo it with almighty push lest I rip Sasuke's arms out myself. When Naruto fired almighty push in tune, when Sasuke started spinning as they spun, a small tornado appeared, and when Sasuke let go, Naruto nailed the Dark Uchiha's jutsu square on, then the blast sent him flying. Alright, that did something. As the dust quickly settled, Dark Sasuke was in a hole behind the waterfall. Sasuke's arms are mildly throbbing from the centrifugal forces that are targeting his. It didn't work. Hashirama says from within Naruto. Madara, can you confirm? Naruto says to Madara, well, I'll say this, he's tough, and if it wasn't for the fact that we were facing Sasuke's dark counterpart, one would figure he'd be a senju, he's that tough. Madara says as Dark Sasuke comes out laughing like Orochimaru. Hashirama smiles a little at Madara's comparison. I'm going to need an opening. Naruto then goes feeling around his pouch, then he feels something out of place. He pulls out a sphere, a light bomb. I didn't have that when I started this mission. He then recalls what his uncle told him. On the inside of your pouch I planted a Hiraishin marker. He must have mixed in a formula for ninja tools, after this we owe him big time for this. Sasuke. Naruto says, gesturing Sasuke to come closer. Naruto used his gunbai to conceal his lips. How's your throwing arm? Naruto says, displaying his flash bomb. They quickly got into position. Naruto was the first to charge Sasuke using chakra to enhance his throw, hurls it at his dark counterpart after the flash had disoriented dark Sasuke with Koto Amatsukami blazing, but as dark Sasuke's vision started clearing up, a Chidori in the shape of a Senbon was quick to nail Naruto in the neck. You've had it. Sasuke roars with a flaring sharing which changed into his Mangekyo. There's that Mangekyo I'm looking for. Good, and this is the last time you'll see it. Saikyomi. After a battle of wills between Sasuke and his dark counterpart, even though Sasuke put up a good fight, Sasuke was still new to the Mangekyo Sharingan, ergo not as experienced with it like his brother, Naruto. Disappears. Naruto, how? I'm alive. I set Izanagi on a time delay, so you thinking I'm dead would give you your Mangekyo. Makes sense why you didn't hint that. I wish to ask a question for when this is over. I believe I know which one you speak of. Back to action. Okay, I've only enough chakra for last trick, but the question is, what should Sasuke and I use? Naruto then looks at Sasuke. Sasuke, I'm going in, lay down, cover fire. Naruto charges with one last Rasengan, a big one with the Phoenix Flower Jutsu covering his 6. It nails dark Sasuke, who was countering with the Chidori, a stalemate. Naruto collapses from sheer exhaustion, then Sasuke drops to one knee. You two fought well, but this is the end. Dark Sasuke starts laughing like a maniac, but just then the skeletal arm of Sasuke's Susanoo reaches up and grabs Dark Sasuke, squeezing him tight. You're dead. Sasuke then uses the last of his chakra to rip Dark Sasuke power from him, then crushes the body with his Susanoo and tossed it into the water. The curse mark appeared back on Sasuke's neck, but this time instead of black it was white, and when Sasuke went to call on its power he felt none of the bloodlust that went with it. Just then he clutched his eyes in pain as the backlash of using the Mangekyo Sharingan kicked in, and Sasuke looks at Naruto when suddenly Kurama's chakra spring to life and the third tail emerges. Then when Naruto has returned to his full strength, the chakra cloak fades. Sasuke, I need you to look at me. Sure, but I want to ask you a question first. Go ahead. What's going to happen to me now that I've unlocked the Mangekyo Sharingan? Your eyes will slowly crawl towards darkness. Eventually you will go totally blind. The more you use these eyes, the faster they will go blind, so use it only as a last resort. Got it. Now you need me to do something. Yeah, look into my eyes. I'm going to use Koto Amatsukami. Lady Hokage needs you to be Konoha's spy inside of Orochimaru's inner circle. So here's what your new attitude will be. You're going to be power hungry and impatient, obsessed with your revenge on Itachi. Once a week you will send letter back to Konoha telling us what Orochimaru's up to. Also ask him to allow you to send a letter to your mother as she'd be worried sick about you. You answer only to me and the Hokage. But promise me that when the opportunity arises you will avenge our fallen Lord Third and kill Orochimaru. Got it. Now use Koto Amatsukami and let's get this party started. Right. Naruto's eyes shift to his Mangekyo Sharingan. Koto Amatsukami. Sasuke gets a hardened look on his face, then punches Naruto in the gut, playing into his ruse. Naruto collapses. See ya, Ototo. Sasuke smiles sadly, then leaps up towards the hidden sound village, leaving behind his leaf headband with a scratch mark through the leaf symbol. Just then the rescue squad arrives as it starts raining. Damn it, Guy says. We were too late, Kakashi says. And the bad news keeps coming, no more scent to follow, Pakun says after he had sniffed around. And just when the Uchiha's suffering has let up, Mikaru thinks as he observes Makoto breaking down in tears. Without much thought he strolls over and gives Makoto a hug to console her. Damn you Orochimaru, damn you Danzo, damn all those who were responsible for the Uchiha's suffering, bastards they may have been but they're people too. Kakashi picks up Naruto, Mikaru picks up Makoto, brings her back to the village. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.